So hey, what's up guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. So in this video we are going to see a very interesting crossover between Doctor Strange and Naruto. So what if Naruto stuck in multiverse seal? So if he found, what if Naruto was reincarnation of Doctor Strange? So this is gonna be very interesting video, so watch till end. And if you are new on this channel, then please make sure to leave a like, share and subscribe. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right back into the video.
The Sorcerer of the Leaf Chapter 1. The wound in the world the night the nine tails attacked Konoha. The world did not simply burn, it cracked. Most people would remember the screams, the collapsing rooftops, the orange glare of fire against the night sky, and the impossible silhouette of the fox towering over the village like a living disaster. They would remember the fourth Hawkage flashing across the battlefield in streaks of yellow light. They would remember the terrible pressure of the beast's chakra pressing down on the village so heavily that even civilians felt it in their bones. But no one remembered the silence between moments. No one remembered the place where time hesitated. No one saw the thin wound that opened in reality when the Shinigami reached its skeletal hand into the living world. The Death God's ritual was not a normal jutsu. It was not ninjutsu in the way the academy would later teach children. It was older, heavier, a bargain written in the language of souls. When Minato Namikaze called upon it, the world obeyed, but obedience came at a cost. The Shinigami did not enter gently. It tore through. For one breath, the boundary between life and death bent outward. For one heartbeat, the living world became connected to places it had no name for. Between the screaming village and the cold realm of the dead, there existed a thin, impossible corridor of broken light. And through that corridor, something else was falling. Stephen Strange was dying. He did not know where he was. That was the first thing that truly frightened him. Stephen Strange had built an entire life around knowing the exact pressure needed to hold a scalpel, knowing the distance between nerves thinner than thread, knowing where arrogance ended and precision began, though admittedly he had learned that last lesson far too late. The crash had happened in another world, glass, rain, metal folding inward, his hands breaking, his future breaking. Then pain, then darkness, then a sound like the universe inhaling through a cracked mirror. Now he was here, not alive, not dead, not anywhere that belonged to either category. His body was gone, his hands were gone, his heartbeat was gone, but Stephen Strange remained, a consciousness without skin, a mind without weight, a soul refusing, with the same stubborn fury that had carried him through medicine and magic alike, to dissolve quietly. Around him stretched a non-place of white static and black geometry. Lines folded into impossible angles. Circles opened and closed like eyes. Somewhere far ahead, something vast and hungry moved its fingers through reality. Strange understood very little. That annoyed him. Annoyance helped. It gave him something familiar to hold on to. "No," he said, though he had no mouth. The void did not answer. "I said no." The force pulling him tightened. It dragged him toward a tear in the distance, a jagged opening where a different world bled orange and red and gold. Strange sensed power there, raw, enormous, and alive. Not magic as he knew it, but close enough that his soul recognized the pattern. A world with its own mystical ecosystem, a world under attack, a world where death had just opened the wrong door. The pull became stronger. Strange fought it instinctively, forming spell structures out of memory alone. No sling ring, no relics, no body, no hands to shape the mudras. But Stephen Strange had never been at his most dangerous when he had tools. He had always been dangerous because he refused to accept the first answer reality gave him. Golden sparks flickered around his fading soul. Weak, unstable, almost pathetic compared to what he had once commanded. Still, they sparked. The corridor shook. In the living world, Minato Namikaze pressed his palm against the altar where his newborn son lay crying. The nine tails roared. Kushina Uzumaki, held upright by willpower and chains of chakra, looked at her child with tears in her eyes and love fierce enough to shame death itself. Minato's face was calm, but only because it had to be. There was grief behind his eyes. Fear, too, not fear for himself. He had already made that decision. Fear for the tiny child who would inherit the consequences. "I'm sorry, Naruto," he whispered. The Shinigami's blade descended. Kurama's chakra was split. The beast's hatred shook the room. The sealing formula flared across the newborn's stomach, ink-black lines forming a prison that was also a bridge, a wound that was also a lock. And then Stephen Strange hit the world. There was no explosion, no grand flash of light, only a single impossible note, like a bell ringing underwater. The soul of Stephen Strange collided with the soul of Naruto Uzumaki at the moment before the infant's first true breath. That fragile instant when identity had not yet hardened, when the self was still wet clay under the fingers of creation. It was not possession. Possession would have left one soul pushing against another. It was not reincarnation in the simple sense. Reincarnation would have overwritten what came before. It was fusion. Stephen Strange's mind, broken loose from one universe, folded into Naruto's newborn soul. Naruto's warmth, instinct, bloodline, and potential wrapped around Strange's memories like roots growing through ancient stone. The infant gasped. His eyes opened. For 1 second they were not blue, they were gold. Minato froze. Kushina saw it too. The baby looked up at them with the unfocused helplessness of a newborn, and behind that helplessness was something else. Not maturity, not control, nothing so simple, recognition. Naruto Uzumaki could not understand the world yet, but something inside him had already seen too many worlds to count. Then the baby began to cry, not an ominous cry, not a supernatural scream, a baby's cry, confused, cold, alive. Kushina smiled through her tears. "That's right," she whispered. "You cry as loud as you want." Minato's hand trembled above the seal. For a moment, just a moment, the fourth Hokage looked at the markings spreading across his son's stomach and noticed something wrong. The Uzumaki sealing script was there. Perfect, stable. His own additions held. The prison was complete. But near the edges, thin lines had appeared that he had not written. They were not ink. They looked like cracks. Tiny, angular fractures branching outward from the main seal. Too precise to be damage and too alien to be any formula Minato knew. His exhausted mind tried to understand them. Then the Shinigami took what it was owed. Minato fell. Kushina fell. The baby cried between them, carrying a demon fox in his stomach, 2 souls in his heart, and a set of doors carved into the deepest layer of his existence. Outside, Konoha mourned the fourth Hokage and celebrated its survival. No one knew that the village had gained something more complicated than a Jinchuriki. No one knew that Naruto Uzumaki had been born with memories of another universe sleeping behind his eyes. Not even Naruto knew, not yet. But Kurama knew something was wrong immediately. The 9 Tails expected fear. It expected darkness, hunger, and the soft, helpless mind of an infant unable to understand the monster sealed within him. It expected to rage against its cage and feel nothing answer except instinct. Instead, deep inside the seal, in the vast flooded chamber where the fox's prison formed itself, Kurama opened one enormous red eye and felt someone looking back. The presence was tiny. A newborn soul, yes, but threaded through it was something sharp and old and irritatingly calm. Kurama snarled. The water rippled. Behind the bars of the seal, the fox lowered its massive head and searched the infant consciousness touching the edge of its prison. Images flashed, a city of glass towers, hands performing surgery, a man in a red cloak standing before impossible stars, circles of golden fire. A woman with a shaved head speaking beneath ancient stone arches, a dark dimension without time. A bargain repeated again and again and again until even a god grew tired. Kurama recoiled. "What?" the fox growled into the empty chamber. "Are you?" The infant soul did not answer. It could not. But somewhere in the fusion of memories, a structure responded. Not with words, with classification. Entity, high-density chakra organism, threat level, catastrophic psychological state, hostile, wounded, intelligent, recommended approach, containment, observation, eventual negotiation. Kurama stared. Then, for the first time in centuries, the nine tails felt offended in a completely new way. "I am not a case study," it snarled. The baby slept. The fox, trapped behind bars, glared into the dark. And somewhere along the edges of the seal, the strange angular cracks pulsed once with cold light. Naruto's earliest memories were not memories, they were fragments. A ceiling with water stains, a kettle whistling. A hand he knew was his, though it was far too small, reaching toward sunlight on the floor, and beneath all of that, deeper things. The smell of antiseptic, the weight of a surgeon's mask, snow falling outside a monastery window, the shape of a spell circle drawn in the air by hands that no longer existed. As a toddler, Naruto did not understand the difference between what he had lived and what his soul remembered. Children accept strangeness easily. The world is already too large for them. A spoon, a shadow, a stranger's voice, a memory from another universe, all of it feels equally possible. So when Naruto was 3 years old and woke from a dream of a hospital room he had never seen, he did not scream. He simply sat up in his small bed, looked down at his hands, and whispered, "They worked before." His fingers were chubby and clumsy, not broken, not scarred, not shaking from nerve damage, just small. He flexed them. Something inside him mourned. He did not know why. By age 4, the village had already taught him that people looked at him differently. Adults smiled until they realized who he was. Then the smile became stiff. Shopkeepers watched his hands. Mothers pulled children away from him with the kind of panic people tried to hide and failed. Shinobi looked at him with calculation, which was worse than fear because calculation had no shame. Naruto did what children do when they are lonely. He talked to things, pipes, walls, cracks in the ceiling. The old refrigerator that hummed like it was thinking very hard about giving up. One rainy evening, a pipe burst above his kitchen. Water sprayed everywhere, striking the floor, the cabinets, his face. Naruto yelped and jumped backward. For a few seconds, he was only a 4-year-old child in an apartment nobody inspected properly, because nobody wanted to spend too much time near the demon brat. Then his hands moved, not in hand seals. Something older than his training, older than the village, rose from muscle memory that did not belong to muscle yet. His fingers traced a circle in the air. Golden light flickered. Naruto froze. The circle hung before him, thin and bright, humming softly. The water stopped, not the pipe. The water itself. Every droplet hung suspended in the air, caught in a geometric lattice that expanded from the circle like invisible glass. The kitchen became a frozen storm. Hundreds of droplets floated around Naruto's head, shining gold at their edges. Naruto stared. Then he sneezed. The circle wobbled but held. For 6 hours, the water remained suspended. Naruto sat on the floor, hugging his knees, watching the droplets rotate slowly in place. He did not know what he had done. He only knew that some part of him had known exactly how to do it. By midnight, exhaustion won. He fell asleep against the cabinet. The circle collapsed. All the water dropped at once. Naruto woke up soaked, sputtering, and deeply offended. The next morning, the landlord yelled at him for the water damage. Naruto tried to explain the glowing circle. The landlord turned pale, called him a monster under his breath, and left without fixing the pipe. That was the first lesson Naruto learned about miracles. People liked them better when someone else performed them. At 6 years old, Naruto discovered the library, not because anyone invited him. He followed a group of academy students inside during a public history lesson and then hid behind a shelf until the librarian stopped looking for him. Once alone, he began pulling scrolls down at random. Most children his age liked picture books. Naruto liked diagrams. There was something calming about them. Diagrams did not glare. They did not whisper. They did not cross the street to avoid him. A diagram either made sense or it did not, and if it did not, Naruto could stare at it until it surrendered. The first scroll he read was on basic chakra theory. He expected difficulty. Instead, he felt annoyance, not his annoyance, a sharper, older annoyance. The scroll described chakra as a combination of physical and spiritual energy molded through the body's network and shaped by hand seals. The explanation was not wrong exactly. It was simply incomplete in the way a child's drawing of a bird was incomplete. Recognizable, but missing flight. Naruto read the entire scroll in 40 minutes. Then he read it again. Then he stole a blank sheet of paper and began writing notes. By the time the librarian found him, Naruto had covered 3 pages in equations, seal fragments, chakra flow corrections, and geometric symbols that made her eyes hurt if she looked at them for too long. "What are you doing?" she demanded. Naruto blinked up at her. "Fixing it." The librarian looked at the scroll, then at the notes, then at the 6-year-old. "You can't fix chakra theory," Naruto frowned. "Why not?" "Because," she paused, searching for an answer that did not sound ridiculous. "Because it was written by experts." That made sense to the part of Naruto that was 6. It did not make sense to the part of him that remembered experts being wrong all the time. So Naruto tilted his head and asked, "Did they test dimensional leakage during molding?" The librarian stared. Naruto waited politely. A minute later, he was removed from the library. 2 days later, an Anbu report landed on the 3rd Hokage's desk. Subject entered public library unsupervised. Subject demonstrated advanced comprehension of chakra theory beyond academy level. Subject produced unknown notation system resembling neither standard Fuinjutsu nor civilian mathematics. Recommendation: increased observation. Hiruzen Sarutobi read the report twice. Then he sighed, removed his pipe from his mouth, and looked out the window toward the village. Naruto Uzumaki was supposed to be watched because of the 9 tails. Now, it seemed, the boy himself required watching. That troubled Hiruzen far more. By age 8, Naruto had become very good at pretending to be normal, not perfectly good. Perfect normality would have required him to know what normal felt like, but he learned rules. Laugh loudly when other children laughed, even if the joke did not make sense. Do not correct teachers more than twice in one class. Do not stare at empty corners where chakra pooled strangely. Do not answer questions before Uruka finished asking them. Do not draw glowing circles in public. That last rule was important. The circles frightened people. Naruto understood that, even if he thought it was unfair. Shinobi threw fireballs, made clones, and occasionally summoned animals large enough to flatten buildings. But apparently one small golden circle meant everyone needed to whisper like he had personally insulted their ancestors. Still, pretending helped, sometimes. The problem was that danger did not care about pretending. It happened in an alley behind a closed tea shop. 3 older boys cornered him after class. They were not shinobi. Not really. Academy washouts, maybe, or older students who enjoyed feeling strong around someone smaller. Naruto recognized one of them as the son of a shopkeeper who charged him double for rice. "Demon brat," the tallest boy said. Naruto sighed. He had learned that sighing made people angrier, but he had not learned how to stop doing it. "I'm trying to go home." "You don't have a home." "That's not accurate," Naruto said. "I have an apartment. It's badly maintained, but legally the punch came before he finished." Naruto's body moved before his fear did. His hand rose. The air folded. The boy's fist struck a reflection of itself. There was a sound like a mirror cracking underwater. The attacker screamed and stumbled back, clutching his hand. His knuckles were swelling already, bent at angles Naruto's old memories identified clinically, and his child mind identified as bad. The alley had changed, not completely. Not enough for a civilian to describe properly. The walls were still there, but their reflections angled incorrectly. The ground beneath Naruto's feet showed a second version of the sky. The 3 boys appeared in fragments, each one reflected through invisible planes that rotated slowly around him. Naruto stared at his hand. Golden sparks crawled between his fingers. The other boys ran. The injured one followed, crying. Naruto remained alone in the alley. For a long time he did not move. Then he whispered, "Mirror dimension." The words came from nowhere. No, not nowhere, from before. From a life where he had stood in cities that folded like paper and fought enemies who believed reality was a suggestion. Naruto's breathing quickened. The reflections trembled around him. He closed his fist. The alley snapped back into place. A trash can fell over. A cat yowled from somewhere nearby and fled with the righteous fury of an animal that had not agreed to be part of mystical training. Naruto almost laughed. Almost. Instead, he went home and sat on his bed until sunrise, staring at his hands. That night, Kurama watched him from behind the bars. The fox had grown used to the child's strangeness, used to the flashes of foreign memory, used to the way Naruto's mind sometimes formed symbols without knowing what they meant. But this was different. The brat was learning, not from teachers, not from scrolls, from himself. That was dangerous. Kurama hated dangerous things when they were not him. "You!" the fox growled. Naruto, half asleep in the inner chamber of his own mind, turned toward the bars. He was older here than outside, not by much, maybe 8, maybe timeless. Dreams did not respect birthdays. The massive shape of the 9 tails emerged from the darkness, red eyes burning. Naruto looked up. "You're the fox," he said. Kurama's tails lashed. "I am Kurama." Naruto blinked, then he nodded seriously. "That's a better name." The fox stopped moving. It had prepared insults, threats, a dramatic reminder of its hatred. Several variations of "I will devour you" that had aged beautifully over the centuries. It had not prepared for basic courtesy. Naruto stepped closer to the bars. Kurama bared its teeth. "Do not approach me, child." Naruto stopped, not out of fear. Out of respect for the instruction, that annoyed Kurama even more. "You're angry," Naruto said. The fox's chakra surged, sending ripples across the flooded floor. "I am imprisoned." "That would make me angry too." Kurama stared at him. Naruto looked around the chamber. His eyes moved over the seal, the bars, the water, the enormous paper tag holding the prison shut. Then his gaze shifted to the outer edges of the space, to the cracks. They pulsed faintly, angular and cold. Naruto frowned. Kurama noticed. "You see them?" Naruto nodded. "They're not part of the seal." "No," Kurama said. "They came with you." Naruto looked back at the fox. "With me?" Kurama's voice lowered. "You are not only Minato's brat. There is something else in you, something that looks at the world like it is a lock to be opened." Naruto did not answer. Because somewhere deep inside, something recognized the accusation. Kurama leaned closer to the bars, enormous eyes narrowing. "Tell me, little jailer, what are you?" Naruto thought about it. He thought about the villagers who called him demon. He thought about the library scrolls that felt unfinished. He thought about glowing circles and broken reflections and hands that remembered being older. Then he said, honestly, "I don't know." Kurama studied him for a long moment. Then the fox huffed, a massive breath that stirred the water. "At least you are not stupid enough to pretend otherwise." Naruto smiled faintly. It was the first almost friendly conversation either of them had ever had. Naturally, neither admitted it. Hiruzen requested the private meeting 2 weeks after the alley incident. He did not call it an interrogation. That would have been unkind. He did not call it a psychological evaluation either. That would have been accurate and therefore worse. Instead, he invited Naruto to tea. Naruto arrived at the Hokage's office wearing an orange jacket too bright for the seriousness of the building, and an expression too calm for a child summoned by the most powerful man in the village. Hiruzen watched him enter. Naruto watched back. There were many things Hiruzen had expected from Minato and Kushina's son. Energy, defiance, loneliness disguised as noise, perhaps anger if the village's cruelty had sharpened him too much. He had not expected this. Naruto's eyes were bright and curious, but behind them sat a patience that did not belong to childhood. He looked around the office once and seemed to understand more than he should. His gaze paused briefly on the old ceiling wards hidden in the walls. Then he sat down without being told. Hiruzen raised an eyebrow. Naruto noticed. "Sorry," the boy said. "Was I supposed to wait?" "Most children do." Naruto considered that. "Most children don't get invited to the Hokage's office for tea." Hiruzen chuckled despite himself. Fair point. He poured tea. Naruto accepted the cup carefully, sniffed it once, and relaxed. Chamomile. You know tea? No, Naruto said, but I know plants. That answer created more questions than it solved. Hiruzen sat across from him. For a moment neither spoke. Outside the window, the village moved on. Vendors shouted. Shinobi crossed rooftops. Children complained about homework as if the world were not full of demons, gods, and broken dimensions hiding inside one lonely boy. Hiruzen folded his hands. Naruto, he said gently, there have been reports. Naruto looked into his tea. I didn't hurt him on purpose. The boy in the alley, Naruto nodded. He tried to hit me. I blocked wrong. Hiruzen's expression did not change, but something inside him tightened. What do you mean, wrong? Naruto lifted one hand and traced a small circle in the air. No light appeared. He was controlling it. Hiruzen realized, not suppressing it out of ignorance, controlling it. I meant to make a shield, Naruto said, but it reflected the force instead of absorbing it. That was my mistake. Hiruzen felt very old. Children Naruto's age were supposed to say things like, he started it, or I got scared, not discuss force redirection. I see, Hiruzen said. I don't think you do, Naruto replied. There was no disrespect in it that made it worse. Hiruzen leaned back slowly. Then help me understand. Naruto was quiet for several seconds. Then he set his tea down and placed one small hand over his stomach. The seal is structurally sound, he said. Hiruzen stopped breathing. Naruto continued, unaware or unwilling to soften the blow. The main containment formula is Uzumaki. Very good work. Elegant, actually. The chakra circulation channels are designed to allow leakage in controlled amounts, probably so I can eventually use Kurama's chakra without the prison failing. Hiruzen's pipe nearly slipped from his fingers. Naruto frowned, concentrating. But the inscriptions at the margins are not standard Uzumaki work. They aren't even chakra-based, not exactly. They behave like dimensional fracture lines. Scar tissue where reality was damaged during the sealing. I've been trying to read them. Hiruzen's voice came out quieter than intended. Read them? Naruto looked up. I think they're doors. The office became very still. Hiruzen had lived through wars. He had trained monsters and heroes, and in his experience, the difference between the two was often decided by who survived long enough to write the report. He had faced enemy cage, forbidden jutsu, political betrayals, and the terrible burden of sending children into a world that ate innocence for breakfast. But for one moment, looking at Naruto Uzumaki, he felt completely unprepared. Doors. The boy had something written on his soul that he believed to be doors. Where do they lead? Hiruzen asked. Naruto's expression changed. For the first time since entering the room, he looked his age, small, uncertain. Away, he said. The answer chilled Hiruzen more than any technical explanation could have. Away from what? Naruto looked down at his tea. Everything. Hiruzen wanted, suddenly and painfully, to tell Minato he was sorry that he had not understood. Sorry that his son was sitting here with the weight of two impossible inheritances pressing down on shoulders too small to carry either. Instead, the old Hokage reached into a drawer and removed a blank scroll. Naruto watched carefully. I would like you to write down what you know, Hiruzen said. Naruto hesitated. Am I in trouble? No. Are you going to lock me up? The question was calm that hurt more. Hiruzen's face softened. No, Naruto. People say that before they do things. Yes, Hiruzen admitted. They do. Naruto studied him, old eyes in a child's face. Then he picked up the brush. I'll write what I can, Naruto said, but some of it doesn't translate. From what language? Naruto paused. His fingers tightened around the brush. I don't know. That was not entirely true, and both of them knew it. That night, Naruto sat alone in his apartment with the curtains drawn. The village outside was quiet. Rain tapped against the window. Somewhere nearby, a neighbor laughed at something, and Naruto felt a strange pinch in his chest at the sound. He had given the Hokage 6 pages, not everything. Not the memories of another life, not the hospital, not the monastery, not the name Stephen Strange, which had been rising more often in his mind lately like a bubble from deep water. He did not know what that name meant yet. only that it belonged to him and did not. Both. Naruto lifted his shirt and looked at the seal on his stomach. To anyone else, it would have looked like ink. To him, it was architecture, a prison, a valve, a promise, a mistake. At the edges, the angular fractures glowed faintly. Naruto pressed his palm against the center. The world fell away. He stood inside the sealed chamber again, ankle deep in cold water. Kurama opened one eye. You again. Naruto ignored the tone and looked toward the margins of the chamber. The cracks were brighter tonight. Something's happening, he said. Kurama's ears flattened. You touched them? I touched my stomach. You touched the doors. Naruto swallowed. The water around his feet trembled. At the far edge of the chamber, beyond the reach of Kurama's cage, one of the cracks widened, not physically, conceptually. That was the only word Naruto had for it. The crack did not open like a door made of wood. It opened like an answer becoming available. Cold light spilled through. Naruto stepped back. Kurama rose behind the bars. All humor gone. Do not go near it. I wasn't going to. Good. Occasionally, you display survival instincts. Naruto almost smiled. Then he saw the reflection. It stood inside the crack. A boy his age. Same blonde hair. Same whisker marks. Same face. But not the same eyes. The reflection's eyes were dark, endless, and filled with stars that had already died. It smiled without warmth. Naruto could not hear its voice, but he saw its mouth move. 2 words. At first, he could not understand them. The crack pulsed. The reflection leaned closer. Naruto's breath caught. This time, he understood. Let me. Naruto ripped his hand away from the seal. He woke in his apartment, falling backward off the bed and hitting the floor with a loud thud. For several seconds, he just lay there, breathing hard. Rain tapped against the window. The seal on his stomach was quiet. Too quiet. Naruto slowly sat up. His hands were shaking. Not because they were broken. Because some part of him remembered what broken hands felt like. Because some part of him remembered making terrible decisions with perfect logic. Because behind the seal, beyond the fox, beyond chakra, beyond anything the academy would ever teach, something had looked at him with his own face and asked to be allowed in. Naruto stood and walked to the window. He opened the curtain just enough to see the Hokage monument through the rain. 4 stone faces watched over the village. One of them belonged to his father, though Naruto did not know that yet. He stared at the monument for a long time, then he looked down at his palm. Golden sparks flickered once between his fingers and vanished. I don't know what I am, Naruto whispered. In the seal, Kurama heard him. At the edge of reality, something else heard him too, and from very far away in a place where failed timelines curled like ashes around dead stars, the reflection smiled. The wound in the world had not closed. It had only learned the shape of a boy. Chapter 2. The geometry of Power Team 7 was supposed to be a balanced unit. That was the theory. The academy records made it look simple enough. Sasuke Uchiha. Top of the class, elite bloodline, strong taijutsu, high chakra control, dangerous emotional instability hidden behind silence. Sakura Haruno. Excellent written scores, sharp memory, precise chakra potential, low field experience. Naruto Uzumaki. Unpredictable. That was the word written in more than one report. Unpredictable, not weak, not strong. Not even troublesome, though several teachers had tried to push that label onto him because it made them feel better, just unpredictable. Iruka had stared at Naruto's final academy report for almost 20 minutes before signing it. The boy had not failed. That was the strange part. Naruto had graduated 3rd in written theory, which would have been impressive enough if his answers had not included side notes correcting the textbook. He had ranked 1st in seal comprehension, a subject the academy barely taught beyond. Do not touch explosive tags unless you enjoy becoming a cautionary example. His chakra control tests were impossible to grade. When asked to stick a leaf to his forehead, Naruto did so. Then he stuck 6 leaves to the wall. Then, when one examiner asked him how, Naruto explained that the wall already had residual chakra residue from decades of students leaning against it, and that he had simply asked the surface politely to cooperate. The examiner wrote, Technically successful, his Taijutsu score was last. Not because he was slow, not because he lacked awareness. Naruto simply refused to block correctly. Every time a sparring partner attacked, he raised his hands and formed a tiny, almost invisible geometric shield. Punches slid away. Kicks hit nothing. One student tried a shoulder tackle and bounced backward into a rack of practice weapons. Iruka had rubbed his forehead. "Naruto," he said carefully, "you are supposed to demonstrate Academy Taijutsu fundamentals." Naruto looked genuinely confused. "I'm not getting hit." "That is not the same thing." "It feels better." "That is also not the point." Naruto stared at him. Iruka stared back. Somewhere behind them, Mizuki muttered, "Fail him." Iruka ignored him. He had learned many things about Naruto over the years. The boy laughed too loudly in public and became too quiet when alone. He acted like he did not care what people thought, but remembered every kind word with frightening precision. He was strange, yes, but not cruel. Never cruel. And if Iruka was honest, the Academy had failed to teach Naruto more often than Naruto had failed to learn, so Iruka passed him. In the notes, he wrote one word, unconventional. Then he underlined it 4 times. Naruto received his forehead protector with both hands. For a moment, he just stared at the metal plate. The symbol of Konoha reflected his face back at him, warped slightly by the curve of the steel. He had expected to feel happy. He did, mostly. But happiness for Naruto was rarely simple. It arrived with questions attached. What did it mean to become a shinobi of a village that feared him? What did it mean to serve a system that had never decided whether he was a child or a prison? What did it mean to wear the symbol of a home that had not always treated him like he belonged? Inside his mind, old memories stirred. A man in another life standing in a temple, wearing robes he had not earned yet, asking similar questions in different words. What does it mean to protect a world that does not understand what you protect it from? Naruto tightened his grip on the forehead protector. Iruka crouched slightly in front of him. "You earned it," his teacher said. Naruto looked up. There was no fear in Iruka's eyes that still surprised him sometimes. "Even with the wall leaves?" Naruto asked. Iruka's mouth twitched. "Especially with the wall leaves." Naruto smiled. "It was small at first, then it became large enough to be dangerous, so I'm officially a ninja." "Yes, and I can take missions, D ranks to start. And I can use ninja tools under supervision, and I get paid." Iruka paused. "Yes." Naruto's eyes narrowed with terrifying focus. "How much?" Iruka suddenly understood that the village had just handed legal employment to a boy who had been living on expired milk and stubbornness. "Not enough to buy a hospital," Iruka said. Naruto blinked. "Why would I buy a hospital?" Iruka did not know why he had said that. Naruto did not know why the idea made him sad. They both moved on. The team assignments happened the next day. The classroom buzzed with excitement, disappointment, and several forms of teenage panic. Naruto sat near the window, forehead protector tied properly for once, fingers moving slowly over the wooden desk. He was tracing a pattern too faint to see, mapping the way chakra collected in the corners of the room. It was not a spell, not exactly, it was practice. The room had a personality. That was the only way he could describe it. Not alive, but shaped by years of children feeling fear, boredom, ambition, jealousy, and lunch-related despair. Chakra left impressions. Not enough for normal sensing, but enough for Naruto's other instincts to notice. Sakura Haruno sat a few rows away, pretending not to look at Sasuke. Sasuke sat alone, pretending not to notice everyone. Naruto respected the efficiency. Sasuke could ignore an entire room with the focus of a monk. Iruka entered with the team list. The class went silent. "Team 7, Iruka read. "Naruto Uzumaki." Several heads turned. Naruto raised one hand lazily. "Sakura Haruno." Sakura straightened for half a second, her eyes flicked to Sasuke. Iruka continued, "And Sasuke Uchiha." The room exploded. Sakura looked like the universe had given her a personal gift. Sasuke looked like the universe had committed a paperwork error. Naruto looked between them and considered the assignment. a precision mind, a wounded prodigy, a dimensional anomaly. He raised his hand. Uruka sighed before Naruto even spoke. Yes, Naruto? Is this team structure intentional, or did someone lose a bet? The classroom laughed. Even Sakura snorted before catching herself. Sasuke's eye twitched. Uruka looked at the paper, then at Naruto. Intentional. Naruto nodded seriously. That's more worrying. Kakashi Hatake arrived 3 hours late. This was normal for Kakashi. It was not normal for what he found waiting. Sakura was sitting at her desk, still attempting to appear patient, though the attempt had been dead for at least an hour. Sasuke stood near the wall with his arms crossed, radiating quiet murder. Naruto was sitting cross-legged on top of the teacher's desk. His eyes were half closed. His hands moved through the air in slow, precise circles and angles, fingers leaving brief golden afterimages that vanished before fully becoming light. Kakashi paused in the doorway. He had expected loud complaints. He had prepared excuses. Several, in fact. A black cat crossed his path. A grandmother needed help. A cloud looked suspicious. The usual classics. Instead, the blonde boy was apparently performing silent mystic architecture on school property. Kakashi looked at Sakura. Sakura pointed at Naruto with both hands as if to say, "See, I am not responsible for this." Kakashi looked at Sasuke. Sasuke said nothing, but his expression suggested that if Kakashi could explain Naruto, he should begin immediately. Kakashi looked at Naruto. "What are you doing?" Naruto's hands did not stop, practicing. "Practicing what? Reading the architecture of the room?" Kakashi blinked once. The architecture. "Yes, it's a classroom. That's what it wants you to think." Sakura covered her mouth. Sasuke slowly turned his head toward Naruto. Naruto opened one eye. "The chakra flow in buildings is different from people," he explained. "It pools in corners, sticks to old wood, and reacts to repeated emotional patterns. This room is mostly boredom, anxiety, and chalk dust." Kakashi stared at him. Naruto added, "Also, someone carved a very rude word under the third desk in the second row." Sakura immediately looked. Sasuke did not, which proved he wanted to. Kakashi walked into the room. He had read Naruto's file. He had read the classified file. He had read the extra classified file Hiruzen had handed him personally, with the exhausted expression of a man giving someone a cursed object and calling it paperwork. None of the files had been sufficient. "I see," Kakashi said. He did not see, not even slightly. But Kakashi had survived by pretending he understood things until he did. He pointed toward the door. "Roof." Sakura frowned. "Roof introductions." Naruto hopped off the desk. "Are we going to jump?" Kakashi looked at him. "You are ninja." "That is not a no." On the roof, the sun was bright and the village looked almost peaceful. Kakashi leaned against the railing and studied his new team. Sakura looked nervous but attentive. Sasuke looked annoyed but focused. Naruto looked like he was mentally measuring the distance between the roof and the nearest building for reasons Kakashi did not enjoy imagining. "Let's introduce ourselves," Kakashi said. "Likes, dislikes, dreams for the future, hobbies, that sort of thing." Sakura raised her hand. "Shouldn't you go first, Sensei?" Kakashi smiled beneath his mask. "Me? I'm Kakashi Hatake. Things I like and things I dislike. I don't feel like telling you. My dreams for the future, never really thought about it. As for hobbies, I have many." Silence. Naruto tilted his head. "That was incredibly unhelpful. Thank you. That wasn't praise." "I know." Sakura went next, mostly discussing Sasuke without saying Sasuke too often, which was an impressive verbal performance. Sasuke gave the shortest introduction possible while still technically participating. Then Kakashi looked at Naruto. Naruto rested his chin on one hand. "I'm Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen, quiet libraries, clean mathematical notation, and people who say what they mean. I dislike spoiled milk, being called things I'm not, and adults who lie badly. My dream," he paused. For a moment the lightness faded. Kakashi watched carefully. Naruto looked out over the village. "My dream is to understand what I am before someone else decides for me." The wind moved across the roof. Sakura's expression softened. Sasuke looked at Naruto differently now, not kindly. Not yet. But with sharper attention, Kakashi felt something unpleasant settle in his chest. That was not a child's dream, that was a warning wearing the shape of one. Naruto blinked and smiled again. Also, I want free ramen for life. Kakashi nodded. There it is. That evening, after sending the children away with instructions to skip breakfast for tomorrow's survival test, Kakashi went directly to the Hokage Tower. Hiruzen did not look surprised when Kakashi entered through the window. He looked tired. That was worse. Well, the Hokage asked. Kakashi placed a small, folded note on the desk. Hiruzen opened it. There's something wrong with the Uzumaki boy. I don't mean that as an insult. Please advise. Hiruzen read it once, then he sighed. Kakashi. Yes, Lord Hokage. Do you remember when Jiraiya tried to teach you sealing theory and you said it felt like reading instructions written by a drunk spider? Kakashi thought about that. Yes, Naruto understands the spider. Kakashi closed his visible eye. That is not comforting. No, Hiruzen said quietly. It is not. The bell test began at dawn. Technically, it began at dawn. In practice, it began when Kakashi arrived late enough for Sakura's stomach to growl loudly and Naruto to begin studying ants with the intensity of a man preparing a diplomatic treaty. Kakashi held up 2 bells. Your goal is to take these from me before noon. If you fail, you go back to the academy. Sakura paled. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. Naruto raised his hand. Kakashi sighed. Yes. Is teamwork encouraged? Kakashi's eye curved. That is for you to decide. Terrible answer, Naruto said. Correct. The test began. Sasuke vanished first, moving cleanly into the trees. Sakura hesitated, then followed. Naruto remained standing in the open. Kakashi looked at him. Naruto looked back. You're not hiding. Naruto glanced around the training field. I considered it. And you would find me? Probably. So hiding wastes time unless it creates a tactical advantage. Kakashi's smile sharpened. And standing in front of me creates one? Naruto lifted one hand. The air shimmered. Behind him, another Naruto stepped out of a thin, reflective plane. Then another. Then another. Within seconds, 12 Narutos stood across the clearing. Kakashi's visible eye widened. Not shadow clones. He knew shadow clones. These were wrong. They were too synchronized and not synchronized enough. Shadow clones moved like copies sharing a command structure. These moved like separate answers to the same question. One Naruto tilted his head, another crouched. A third was already looking at Kakashi's left pocket. Kakashi's hand drifted toward his kunai pouch. What exactly are those? Naruto smiled. Projections? That explains nothing. It explains some things. Kakashi moved. He blurred forward faster than most genin could track. His hand passed through the first Naruto. The projection shattered like glass. Another Naruto ducked before Kakashi even turned. A third threw a kunai at the exact angle needed to force Kakashi's step to the right. A fourth was already there. Kakashi twisted midair, avoiding a golden disc that opened beneath his foot. His eye narrowed. They were predicting him. No, not predicting. That was too simple. Each projection seemed to be fighting from a slightly different version of the exchange. One reacted to a punch Kakashi had not thrown. Another dodged a kick he had considered but abandoned. A third reached for the bells half a second before the opportunity existed. Kakashi landed on a branch. The 12 Narutos looked up at him. One of them waved. Kakashi did not wave back from the bushes. Sasuke watched with growing disbelief. He had expected Naruto to be strange. Everyone knew Naruto was strange, but this was not the strangeness of a class clown or a cursed child. This was tactical impossibility. Sakura, hiding behind another tree, forgot her hunger completely. Kakashi raised his forehead protector. The Sharingan opened. Naruto's smile faded not from fear, from interest. Oh, Naruto said softly. That's beautiful. Kakashi felt the first true chill of the morning. Most people who saw the Sharingan reacted with fear, recognition, or arrogance. Naruto reacted like someone admiring a rare instrument. The projections shifted. Kakashi saw chakra pathways, then immediately regretted it. The projections did not have normal chakra networks. They were not bodies. They were anchored reflections, each one attached to Naruto by thin threads of golden energy that passed through spaces the Sharingan could not fully perceive. Kakashi's eye hurt. That was new. He dispelled the test. All movement stopped. The Narutos looked disappointed. The real Naruto frowned. Did I fail? Kakashi stared at him. No. Did I pass? No. That seems mathematically untidy. Kakashi pulled out a small communication scroll and bit his thumb. Sakura emerged cautiously. Sensei? Kakashi wrote one line to Hiruzen. He didn't copy my Sharingan. He made it irrelevant. Then he looked at his 3 students. New plan. Sasuke stepped from the trees. You're canceling the test. Yes. Because of him? Kakashi met Sasuke's stare. Because I need to know whether this training ground is still in the same dimension it started in. Naruto glanced around. It mostly is. Sakura made a tiny sound. Kakashi looked at him. Mostly. Naruto pointed to a patch of grass near the memorial stone. That part is about 3 seconds ahead. Everyone stared. A leaf fell from a tree. It landed on the patch of grass. For 3 seconds, nothing happened. Then the leaf was suddenly already brown. Kakashi closed his eye. I hate paperwork. Team 7 did not return to the academy. That was the official decision. Unofficially, Hiruzen spent half the afternoon arguing with 3 advisors who believed Naruto should be removed from active shinobi duty until his abilities could be categorized. Naruto, when informed later, asked whether categorized meant understood or locked in a basement. Kakashi did not answer quickly enough. That told Naruto everything, so Kakashi began training them differently. Sasuke received advanced taijutsu drills and controlled fire nature exercises. Sakura was given chakra control training, field medicine basics, and tactical observation work. Naruto was given restrictions, many restrictions, so many restrictions. No mirror projections unless supervised. No dimensional folding inside village limits. No experimenting on living teammates. Sakura raised her hand. Why did that need to be said? Naruto looked offended. I would ask permission first. That does not make it better, Kakashi continued. No time distortion, Naruto sighed. It was 1 leaf. No time distortion. No portal attempts without a marked destination. Naruto looked away. Sasuke noticed. You tried that already. Naruto said nothing. Sakura turned slowly. Naruto? It was a small portal. Kakashi's voice became very flat. Where did it go? Naruto scratched his cheek. Possibly into the Hokage's bathroom. Kakashi stared. Sakura stared. Sasuke stared. Naruto added, in my defense, the coordinates were excellent. I just didn't know he was using it. Kakashi turned around and walked 10 steps away. Nobody spoke. Then Kakashi came back. No portals, Naruto nodded. Fair. Despite the chaos, Team 7 began to become a team, not smoothly, never smoothly. Sasuke trained like every second not spent improving was a personal insult. He watched Naruto with narrowed eyes trying to locate the trick. Every power had rules. Every technique had weaknesses. Naruto's had to as well. The problem was that Naruto agreed. Whenever Sasuke challenged him, Naruto explained his limitations with unsettling honesty. My shields are strong against direct force, weak against attacks that disrupt concentration. My projections collapse if the anchor point is destroyed. I can sense chakra through walls, but emotional residue makes it noisy. I'm terrible at normal taijutsu. Sasuke seized on that last one. Their first real spar lasted 11 seconds. Sasuke got inside Naruto's guard, swept his leg, and pinned him with a kunai at his throat before Naruto could shape a shield. Naruto blinked up at him. That was excellent, Sasuke frowned. You lost. Yes, that's why it was useful. Sasuke did not know what to do with that. Naruto grinned. Again. Sasuke agreed. The second spar lasted 13 seconds. The third lasted 20. By the end of the week, Naruto could survive almost a full minute before Sasuke dropped him. Naruto considered this enormous progress. Sasuke found it irritating that Naruto treated being beaten as research. Sakura, meanwhile, discovered that Naruto was easier to talk to when someone asked him specific questions. If she said, "How does that glowing shield work?" Naruto would talk for 20 minutes and somehow make it fascinating. If she said, "Are you okay?" he would freeze like she had thrown a kunai at his emotional organs, so Sakura learned to approach sideways. "How many futures can you see?" Naruto looked up from a sealed diagram. "I can't see futures." "But during training, you react before things happen." "That's not future sight. That's probability modeling using sensory inputs, chakra movement, muscle tension, and spatial memory." Sakura stared. "So, future sight?" "No, what's the difference?" Naruto opened his mouth, closed it, looked annoyed. "The difference is important academically." Sakura smiled. "That means I'm right socially." Naruto considered this. "I dislike how effective that argument is." Sakura laughed. Naruto looked startled, then pleased. Sakura noticed, and because Sakura was sharper than most people gave her credit for, she realized something important. Naruto did not need people to understand everything about him. He needed them to stop flinching. So she stopped flinching. Their first C-rank mission was supposed to be simple. This, Kakashi would later reflect, was the most suspicious phrase in the shinobi profession. The client was a merchant traveling between small border towns. No missing nin, no political complications, no secret princess. No bridge builder lying about assassins. Just escort duty through forest roads troubled by bandits. Naturally, it went wrong. The ambush came on the third day. 6 attackers, not civilians, not simple bandits. Their chakra control was too clean. Their formation too disciplined. Ex-shinobi, maybe? Deserters or mercenaries who had learned enough to kill Genin and avoid Jonin. Kakashi noticed them first. Naruto noticed something else. The air changed, not physically. Not in a way anyone else would sense. A pressure shifted, like reality taking a breath before something broke. Kakashi signaled. Sasuke moved left. Sakura guarded the client. Naruto stepped forward. Then everything happened at once. Explosive tags detonated along the road, throwing smoke and dirt into the air. 2 attackers rushed Sasuke. One came for Kakashi as a distraction. Another circled wide towards Sakura and the merchant. The last 2 disappeared underground. Naruto's eyes narrowed. He could feel them below, moving through earth like knives under cloth. "Kakashi-sensei," he shouted. Kakashi was already moving, but the attackers had planned well. One underground shinobi surfaced behind Sakura, kunai angled toward her ribs. The second emerged near the client. Sakura turned too late. Naruto's body moved before thought. He reached for a shield, but the angle was wrong. The distance was wrong. The kunai was already too close. A normal shinobi would have thrown a weapon. A normal shinobi would have shouted. A normal shinobi would have failed. Something inside Naruto opened. At his sternum, beneath skin and seal and bone, a golden aperture flared to life. The Eye of Agamotto, not a necklace, not a relic. A memory encoded into the soul. The world shattered into possibilities. 40 seconds unfolded across 17 futures. In one, Sakura died. In another, she survived but lost the use of her left arm. In 3, Kakashi killed every attacker but not before the merchant was taken hostage. In 1, Sasuke activated a burst of fire too close to the explosive tags and injured everyone. In 2, Naruto used the Dark Multiverse seals and the forest screamed. He rejected those immediately. His mind burned. Too much information. Too many outcomes. Too many deaths. Every future arrived with emotion attached, not abstract possibilities but lived consequences. Sakura gasping. Sasuke bleeding. Kakashi's eye hardening. The client begging. Naruto chose. He stepped left before the underground attacker fully emerged. A golden disc opened under Sakura's foot. She dropped through it with a yelp and fell out of a second disc 3 meters away, landing in a bush. The kunai struck empty air. Naruto threw a mirror shard into the attacker's face, not sharp enough to cut deeply, just enough to blind. He turned. The second attacker reached for the merchant. Naruto flicked 2 fingers. The man's own shadow folded upward and became a wall for half a second, long enough. Sasuke's fireball hit the ground in front of the attackers, forcing them back. Kakashi ended the fight in 12 seconds, but Naruto was still living the other futures. He saw Sakura die 11 times. He saw himself fail in 11 different ways. He saw one version where he opened the wrong door and something wearing his face stepped through smiling. Then the eye closed. Naruto collapsed to one knee. The forest returned to one timeline, one road, one outcome. Sakura was alive. The merchant was alive. Everyone was alive. Naruto sat down in the dirt. His hands shook violently. Kakashi was at his side instantly. Naruto? Naruto did not respond. His breathing came too fast. Sakura crawled out of the bush, leaves in her hair and panic on her face. Naruto? He looked at her. For one horrible second, he saw her with blood on her shirt from a future that no longer existed. Then he blinked. She was fine. Annoyed. Frightened. Alive. Good. That was good. Sakura crouched beside him. "Hey," she said softly. "I'm okay." Naruto nodded too quickly. "I know." "You don't look like you know." "I saw." He stopped. Kakashi's visible eye sharpened. "What did you see?" Naruto swallowed. "Options." Sasuke approached slowly. "What kind of options?" Naruto laughed once. It sounded wrong. "Bad ones." No one spoke for a moment. Then Sakura sat beside him in the dirt. Not hovering, not demanding, not asking for an explanation he could not give yet. She just sat there. Naruto stared at her. "Your skirt is getting muddy," he said. Sakura looked down, then she shrugged. "I got thrown through a glowing floor portal into a bush. Mud is not the headline." A small sound escaped Naruto, almost a laugh. Sakura smiled. Kakashi watched them both and said nothing. Some bonds did not form in grand declarations. Sometimes they formed because someone saw the impossible thing you could do and chose to sit beside you afterward. That night, Naruto did not sleep. The team camped beside a shallow river. Kakashi took first watch, though Naruto suspected their sensei never truly stopped watching. Sasuke slept lightly near the fire. Sakura was curled in her bedroll, one hand near her kunai pouch. Naruto sat apart, palm pressed against his stomach. The seal responded. He entered the inner chamber. Kurama was awake. The fox's eyes opened before Naruto spoke. "You used time sight," Naruto frowned. "Is that what it was?" "How should I know?" Kurama snapped. "You are the one with dead star nonsense in your soul." Naruto looked toward the margins of the chamber. The cracks were brighter, longer. They had spread, not dramatically. Not enough for someone else to notice, maybe, but Naruto noticed. The Dark Multiverse seals were not static, they were growing. His stomach twisted. "I didn't use them," he said. Kurama's tails shifted behind the bars. "No, but they grew." "Yes." Naruto looked at the fox. Why? Kurama's expression was unreadable in the dark. Because power calls to power. Because every time you bend the world, the cracks remember they are cracks. Because doors do not remain doors forever if something keeps knocking. Naruto felt cold. "Something is knocking." Kurama's eyes moved past him. Naruto turned. At the far edge of the chamber, in the reflection of the dark water, another Naruto stood behind him, not physically, not yet. A reflection only, same face. Same hair, same small body, eyes like collapsed stars. It smiled. Naruto did not move. Kurama growled so deeply the chamber shook. The reflection lifted one finger and drew a circle in the air. Not gold, black. Naruto stepped back. The reflection mouthed words. This time he understood them clearly. "You are learning too slowly." Naruto clenched his fists. "I'm learning carefully." The reflection's smile widened. Same thing, it mouthed. Then it vanished. The water stilled. Naruto breathed in, out. Again, Kurama watched him. For once, the fox did not insult him. That was how Naruto knew it was truly worried. "What is it?" Naruto asked. Kurama's eyes narrowed. "It is you." Naruto shook his head. "No." "Yes." "I wouldn't. You do not know what you would do," Kurama said. "Not with enough fear, not with enough grief, not with enough power." Naruto wanted to argue. He could not, because 17 futures still lived behind his eyes, and in 2 of them he had reached for the dark seals without hesitation. To save Sakura, to save everyone, to win. Naruto looked down at his reflection in the water. For a moment, his own eyes looked almost gold. "What do I do?" he whispered. Kurama's massive head lowered behind the bars. The nine tails, ancient disaster of chakra and hatred, considered the tiny human who was also something else. Then it said grudgingly, "You learn faster." Naruto looked up. Kurama bared its teeth. "Carefully," it added, as if the word tasted disgusting. Naruto smiled faintly. Was that advice? No, it sounded like advice. It was a warning. Warnings are advice with worse manners. Kurama stared at him. Naruto stared back. Then, deep in the seal, the nine tails made a low, rumbling sound that might, under extremely generous interpretation, have been amusement. When Team 7 returned to Konoha, Kakashi submitted 3 reports. The official mission report was clean, ambush by trained mercenaries. Team responded effectively. No casualties. Client delivered safely. Recommendation: reassess intelligence protocols for C-rank mission classification. The classified report was less clean. Naruto Uzumaki manifested localized future sight under stress. Ability appears soul-based rather than chakra network-based. Visible golden aperture at sternum. Duration unknown. Psychological aftereffects severe. Recommend supervised training and emotional support. The third report was private. It went directly to Hiruzen. The boy saved Sakura. He saw the cost before paying it. That may be the only reason he did not choose a worse power. We need to help him stay the kind of person who hesitates. Hiruzen read the report late at night. Outside, Konoha slept. The old Hokage looked toward the distant apartment where Naruto lived. A Jinchuriki could be trained. A weapon could be aimed. A child could be loved. But Naruto Uzumaki was becoming something the village had no category for. And categories mattered less every day. The next morning, Naruto woke to find a note slipped under his apartment door. Training Ground 7, dawn, bring breakfast. Actually, eat breakfast first. Do not open any portals in my bathroom. Kakashi Naruto read the note twice. Then he smiled. It was not safety, it was not understanding. Not yet, but it was something. Someone had seen the impossible, written a rule about it, and still asked him to come back tomorrow. For Naruto Uzumaki, that was close enough to hope. He tied his forehead protector. Golden sparks flickered once around his fingers, then faded. Inside the seal, the dark multiverse cracks pulsed quietly in the reflection of his window. For half a second, another Naruto watched him with starless eyes. Naruto looked at it. The reflection smiled. Naruto smiled back, not warmly, not fearfully. A challenge. Then he turned away and left for training. The geometry of power had begun to reveal itself, and Naruto was starting to understand the first rule. Power was not dangerous because it could break the world. Power was dangerous because, someday, breaking the world might look like the kindest option. Chapter 3. The price of rewriting. Naruto learned very quickly that power was easiest to control when nobody needed him. That was the unfair part. In training, he could hold a shield for 20 minutes without shaking. He could open a mirror dimension shard the size of his palm, rotate it, stabilize it, and collapse it safely before Kakashi even finished saying, "Don't make that bigger." He could sit beside a river and sense the difference between living chakra, residual chakra, and the strange ambient hum that Strange's memories insisted on calling dimensional energy. He could even speak with Kurama without getting immediately insulted. That last one was new, not peaceful. Never peaceful. Kurama's idea of a friendly conversation still included phrases like, "Try not to embarrass both of us," and "Your survival instincts remain disappointing." But it was progress. The problem was missions were not training. Missions had civilians. Missions had mistakes. Missions had screams. And when someone was about to die, careful control became much harder to admire. That was why Naruto made rules. He wrote them down in a small notebook, hidden beneath a loose floorboard in his apartment. Rule 1. Do not use the Dark Multiverse seals unless there is no other option. Rule 2. If there is another option, use it even if it hurts. Rule 3. Future sight is not permission. Rule 4. A good outcome from a bad method is still dangerous. Rule 5. Ask Kurama if unsure. He will be rude, but he is usually not stupid. Kurama objected to Rule 5 loudly. Naruto kept it anyway. By the time the Chunin exams approached, he had added 7 more rules, 3 diagrams, and 1 sketch of Kakashi's face with the caption, "Sensei pretending not to panic." Kakashi found that page during a surprise apartment inspection. He stared at it for a full 10 seconds. Then he said, "The hair is wrong." Naruto looked offended. "The hair is the most accurate part. The mask lacks emotional depth. It's a mask." "Exactly." Sakura laughed so hard she had to sit down. Sasuke did not laugh, but his mouth twitched once. Naruto counted that as a victory. Team 7 had changed in the months since the C-rank ambush. Not dramatically enough for outsiders to notice, but enough that the space between them felt less like arrangement and more like structure. Sakura had become the team's stabilizer. She remembered supplies, mission details, medical instructions, and exactly how many times Naruto had been told not to test portals near plumbing. Sasuke had become sharper, quieter, and more intense. He trained against Naruto's shields until he could recognize the half-second before a barrier formed. He learned to attack where Naruto was about to defend, not where he already had. Naruto respected that. It was deeply annoying. Kakashi watched them all with the expression of a man supervising 3 lit explosives and hoping they developed emotional maturity before detonation. Then he entered them into the Chunin exams. Sakura stared at him. "Are you sure?" Kakashi looked at his team. Sasuke looked ready. Naruto looked curious. Sakura looked worried, which meant she was the only one considering consequences properly. "No," Kakashi said honestly, "but you're ready enough." Naruto raised his hand. "Ready enough is not comforting. It's Shinobi tradition. That explains a lot." The first stage of the Chunin exams was a written test. Naruto loved it. This horrified everyone who knew him. The room was packed with genin from every major village. Sand, mist, rain, sound, grass, and others Naruto could not immediately identify. The air was thick with nervous chakra and competitive arrogance. To Naruto, it felt like standing inside a badly tuned instrument. Sakura sat at a desk, reading the questions with growing horror. Sasuke's eyes narrowed as he realized the real test was not knowledge, but information gathering. Naruto looked down at the paper, then he blinked. Then he looked at Ibiki Morino, then back at the paper. This was not a test. This was a trap wearing a test costume. The questions were intentionally beyond most genin. The room was arranged to encourage cheating. The proctors watched for clumsy cheating but allowed skillful information theft. It was a psychological exercise designed to test pressure, risk assessment, and covert ability. Naruto appreciated the design. He still thought the math was inelegant. He answered the first 6 questions normally. For the 7th, he adjusted the formula. For the 8th, he wrote 3 possible solutions and circled the one most likely expected by the examiners. For the 9th, he added a note. This assumes chakra behaves only as biological energy. That assumption is incomplete. Ibiki walked past his desk. Stopped, looked down. Naruto looked up politely. Ibiki read the note. His scarred face did not move. Problem? Naruto tapped the page. Your model ignores ambient chakra fields. Ibiki stared at him. This is a test. Yes. Answer the question. I did. I also answered the better version of the question. Somewhere behind them, Sakura closed her eyes like she was praying for patience. Ibiki moved on without comment, but Naruto noticed the corner of his mouth twitch. The 10th question came with pressure, threats, and the possibility of permanent failure. Naruto listened carefully. When Ibiki finished explaining the stakes, several teams quit. Naruto did not move. Sakura looked tense. Sasuke looked insulted by the idea of backing down. Naruto raised his hand. Ibiki's eye narrowed. Yes, if someone chooses to remain and fails, they lose the chance forever. That is correct. And if they leave now, their teammates fail with them? Correct. Naruto leaned back. That is an excellent cruelty engine. The room went silent. Ibiki's gaze sharpened. Excuse me? Naruto's voice remained calm. You're testing whether fear of future loss can override present loyalty. It's clever, unnecessarily dramatic, but clever. A few genin stared at him like he had lost his mind. Ibiki walked slowly toward Naruto's desk. And what do you choose? Naruto looked at Sakura, then at Sasuke, then back at Ibiki. I choose the team. Ibiki held his stare. Naruto smiled slightly. But for the record, your threat structure depends on the assumption that institutional permission defines growth. It doesn't. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Ibiki laughed, not loudly, not warmly, but genuinely. You pass. Several genin nearly fell out of their chairs. Sakura slowly lowered her head to the desk. Sasuke looked at Naruto like he could not decide whether to be irritated or impressed. Naruto whispered, "Was that too much?" Sakura whispered back, "Yes. Effective, also yes." The forest of death felt wrong before they entered it. Naruto stood before the massive fenced boundary and stared into the trees. The forest was old. Not ancient in the way strangers' memories understood ancient, but old enough to have a weight. Chakra clung to the roots. Predators moved beneath leaves. Fear had soaked into the soil from years of exams, ambushes, and desperate children pretending they were ready for war. Sakura adjusted her gloves. "Are you sensing something?" "Yes." "What?" Naruto frowned. "Bad curriculum design," Sasuke snorted. Sakura looked at him. He immediately pretended he had not. Anko Mitarashi gave her terrifying introduction with enough knives, smiles, and casual death references to make half the candidates reconsider their life choices. Naruto watched her with interest. "She has snake chakra residue," he murmured. Sasuke glanced at him. "What?" "Not her natural chakra. Something old, marked into her system." Sakura's face tightened, like a seal. Naruto's gaze drifted to Anko's neck, like a bite that learned how to write. Before Sakura could ask what that meant, the gates opened, the exam began. Team 7 moved fast, not recklessly. That was another change. Sasuke scouted ahead. Sakura tracked direction and supplies. Naruto monitored chakra signatures and ambient distortions. They avoided 2 teams in the first hour and stole a scroll from a Rain team in the second with clean coordination. For once, things went well. Naturally, that lasted almost no time at all. By afternoon, the forest became too quiet. Birds stopped. Insects stopped. Even the trees seemed to hold still. Naruto raised one hand. Team 7 froze. Sasuke's fingers moved toward his kunai pouch. Sakura lowered her center of gravity. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Something was approaching. No, not approaching, uncoiling. The chakra signature sliding through the forest was not large like Kurama's or bright like Kakashi's. It was controlled, suppressed, layered in masks. But beneath those masks, Naruto sensed hunger wearing intelligence like a cloak. A grass ninja stepped into the clearing. At least, it looked like a grass ninja. The body was wrong, not physically. Not in a way most people would see, but Naruto saw the mismatch between flesh and presence. The chakra did not sit inside the body like it belonged there. It draped over it, used it, piloted it. Sasuke whispered, "Enemy." Naruto whispered back, "Not the body." The grass ninja smiled. The smile was too wide. My, the stranger said. "What an unusual little team." Naruto stepped slightly in front of Sakura. Sasuke noticed. So did the stranger. Those yellow eyes focused on Naruto. Then everything changed. The stranger's attention sharpened. The playful mask remained, but something colder looked through it. Orochimaru had spent decades studying forbidden knowledge. He had carved secrets out of corpses, stolen techniques from clans, peeled open the mechanics of cursed seals, summoning contracts, immortality experiments, bloodline limits, and soul transfer rituals. If the Shinobi world had hidden knowledge in a locked room, Orochimaru had either found the key, picked the lock, or removed the wall. He knew seals, he knew chakra, he knew monsters. Naruto Uzumaki should have been understandable. A Jinchuriki. An unusual one, perhaps. A child with strange techniques. A vessel worth studying but still within the broad architecture of the world. Then Orochimaru looked at the seal beneath Naruto's skin and forgot about Sasuke Uchiha. For the first time in many years, Orochimaru saw something he did not have a name for. The Nine-Tails seal was there, yes, Uzumaki's structure, Minato's refinement, elegant, impressive, familiar enough to be irritating, but around it was language, not written in ink, not carved in chakra, written through the relationship between soul and reality. An encoding system older than the sage schools, older than any shinobi art Orochimaru had stolen. The boy's body was not merely containing power, it was translating a wound in the world. Orochimaru's smile faded into something almost reverent. "What are you?" he whispered. Sakura's skin prickled. Sasuke's Sharingan flickered awake. Naruto looked directly at Orochimaru. "Something you don't understand yet," he said. "Leave." For half a second the forest seemed to wait for Orochimaru's answer, then Orochimaru laughed, softly, delightedly. "No," he moved. Sasuke barely tracked him. The grass body blurred across the clearing, neck extending at an impossible angle, mouth opening wider than human anatomy allowed. Sakura threw a kunai. Orochimaru twisted around it like smoke. Naruto raised a shield. Orochimaru struck it with 2 fingers. The golden geometry held for 1 breath. Then Orochimaru's chakra slid along the shield's edge, probing, tasting, learning. Naruto's eyes widened. He collapsed the barrier before Orochimaru could understand too much. Sasuke attacked from the side, fire blooming from his mouth. Orochimaru passed through the flames with a substitution and reappeared behind him. The killing intent hit, not true killing intent, not fully, a measured release. A needle, not a flood, but it struck Team 7 like winter. Sakura froze. Sasuke's breath caught. Naruto felt his body lock for 1 horrible second as old instincts collided. Shinobi fear, child fear, surgeon's focus, sorcerer's memory. Kurama snarled inside him, "Move, brat." Naruto moved. He drew a circle in the air and threw it downward. The ground beneath Sakura folded sideways, sliding her out of Orochimaru's line of pressure. Sasuke forced himself to turn, Sharingan spinning. Orochimaru's eyes brightened. "Interesting." Sasuke lunged. Orochimaru caught him by the throat. It happened too quickly. One moment Sasuke was attacking. The next, Orochimaru held him suspended, studying the Sharingan with mild approval. "There you are," Orochimaru said. "I almost forgot my original purpose." His neck stretched, his teeth opened. Naruto saw the mark before it landed, a bite, a seal. A corruption designed to enter through pain and grow through desire. "No," Naruto said. He opened future sight. The Eye of Agamotto flared at his sternum. 16 futures. Sasuke marked in 13. Sakura injured in 8. Naruto using Tier 1 techniques in 7 and failing in all of them. Naruto using mirror projections in 4 and losing control. Naruto reaching for the Dark Multiverse seals in 2. In both, the forest screamed. He rejected them. He tried to find another path. There wasn't one. Orochimaru's teeth sank into Sasuke's neck. Sasuke screamed. Something inside Naruto went quiet, not calm, quiet, the kind of silence that happens at the center of a storm. Orochimaru released Sasuke and turned toward Naruto. His eyes were glowing with hunger now. "You," he said, "are the true mystery." Naruto felt Sakura behind him, felt Sasuke on the ground, felt the curse mark burning like a parasite writing itself into his teammates' chakra network. He remembered Rule 1. Do not use the Dark Multiverse seals unless there is no other option. He searched again. Shield, too slow. Projection, too unstable. Portal, too risky. Kurama's chakra, too destructive, and Orochimaru understood chakra, future sight. Already failed. Orochimaru reached for him. There was no other option. Naruto pressed 2 fingers against the seal on his stomach. Kurama's eyes widened inside the chamber. "Don't," Naruto whispered. "I know." Then he touched the first dark fracture. Reality buckled, not exploded, not shattered, buckled. The forest bent inward around Naruto as if the world had suddenly realized it had been drawn on paper. The trees groaned. Leaves turned gray at their edges. Shadows stretched in the wrong direction. Orochimaru stopped. For the first time in the fight, he looked uncertain. The angular scars on Naruto's forearms lit with cold black gold light. Naruto lifted his hand. Not in a hand seal, not in a spell mudra, something between. The clearing aged. Trees in a 50-meter radius lived 500 years in 4 seconds. Bark thickened, cracked, hollowed, and collapsed. Leaves bloomed, withered, fell, rotted, and fed roots that had already become dust. Vines grew and died in spirals around trunks that no longer existed. Orochimaru tried to retreat. The space behind him was no longer behind him. That was the problem with the Dark Multiverse seals. They did not move energy through the world. They reminded the world that its rules were local agreements. Naruto's eyes were gold, then blue, then something darker. "Leave," he said again. This time reality helped. A tear opened beneath Orochimaru's feet. Not a portal in the clean, golden sense. A wound. Orochimaru's body twisted, stretched, and vanished through it. He landed outside the forest of death's boundary with enough force to carve a trench through the ground. For several seconds, he did not move. Then he began to laugh. Not because it was funny. Because for the first time in decades, he had found something worth fearing and wanting in equal measure. Back in the forest, Naruto dropped to his knees. The clearing was dead, not destroyed by fire, not cut by battle, aged out of relevance. The trees stood as gray husks around him. Sakura crawled to Sasuke, shaking but alive. Sasuke clutched his neck, teeth gritted, the curse marks spreading across his skin like black flame. Naruto tried to stand. Failed. The scars had spread. They no longer stopped at his forearms. Angular lines crawled up toward his shoulders and across his chest beneath his shirt, cold and burning at once. In the corner of his vision, something stood between the dead trees. A boy with his face. Not a reflection this time, a shape. 20 meters away, watching, Naruto blinked. It vanished. He stopped blinking. It appeared 1 meter closer. Naruto's breath caught. Sakura looked up. "Naruto," he forced his eyes away. "I'm fine." Sakura's expression said she did not believe him for a second. Good, she was getting smarter. They survived the forest of death. Barely, Sasuke's curse mark fever came in waves. Sometimes he shook. Sometimes he slept. Sometimes his chakra flared so violently that Naruto had to draw containment circles around him to keep the mark from spreading faster. Sakura took watch with a kunai in hand and fear in her face but steel in her spine. Naruto sat near Sasuke and monitored the curse. He hated it. Not emotionally, though, yes, emotionally too, he hated it structurally. Orochimaru's seal was invasive but brilliant. It did not simply inject chakra. It negotiated with weakness. It found hunger, fear, rage, ambition, and whispered, "I can help." That made it more dangerous than poison. Poison wanted to kill you. This wanted to become useful. Sasuke woke near dawn on the second day. His eyes opened slowly. For a moment, he looked disoriented. Then memory returned. His hand shot to his neck. Naruto was beside him. "Don't channel chakra too fast," Naruto said. "The mark responds to stress." Sasuke's eyes sharpened. "What happened?" "Orochimaru bit you. I know that part. I made him leave." Sasuke looked past Naruto. At the dead section of forest beyond their temporary shelter. The trees there were not burned or broken. They were ancient, dead from time. Sasuke stared. His face went blank in a way Naruto had learned meant something inside him was moving violently but would not be allowed to show. "You did that." Naruto nodded. Sasuke's voice lowered. How? Naruto was quiet. Sakura, sitting nearby, looked between them but did not interrupt. Naruto finally answered, "Badly." Sasuke's jaw tightened. "That's not an answer. It's the only safe one." Sasuke's eyes flashed red for half a second. The Sharingan activated, then faded as pain from the curse mark made him inhale sharply. Naruto reached out. Sasuke slapped his hand away. "I'm not fragile." "I didn't say you were." "You're thinking it." "No," Naruto said. "I'm thinking Orochimaru put something inside your chakra system that feeds on emotional instability, and you are currently very emotionally unstable." Sakura winced. Sasuke glared. Naruto added, "Understandably." "That does not make it better," Sakura muttered. Sasuke looked at the dead trees again. For a long time no one spoke. Then Sasuke said very quietly, "The trees aged." Naruto nodded. Sasuke's hand tightened around the grass. "I couldn't even follow what happened. It wasn't normal combat. I noticed. There was bitterness there, not jealousy exactly, something worse, displacement. Sasuke had built his life around measurement, stronger than me. Weaker than me, faster, slower, worthy. Irrelevant, Naruto had broken the measuring tool. Sasuke stared at the trees and understood something he hated. Naruto was not ahead of him on the road. Naruto was walking through walls beside it. That realization did not make Sasuke want to give up. It made him want a different map. They reached the tower before the deadline. Kakashi was waiting there, so was Anko, so were 3 Anbu. Naruto looked at them, then at Sakura, then at Sasuke, then back at Kakashi. This feels like a trap. Kakashi's visible eye was darker than usual. It's a medical evaluation. That is exactly what someone says when the trap has paperwork. Anko stepped forward. Her usual wild grin was gone. She looked at Sasuke's neck, then at Naruto's arms. Her gaze lingered on the angular scars. Orochimaru did that. Naruto shook his head. Orochimaru did Sasuke's. Anko's face tightened. And yours? Naruto looked down at his forearms. The scars were faint now, but visible if one knew where to look. Thin, angular lines like someone had tried to draw broken windows beneath his skin. I did mine, he said. No one liked that answer. Sasuke was taken to have the curse mark suppressed. Sakura went with him. Naruto watched them leave. Then Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder. Naruto did not flinch, but he did go still. Kakashi noticed, "Are you hurt?" "Yes." "Where?" Naruto thought about it. "My soul, mostly." Anko muttered something under her breath. Kakashi sighed. "Physical injuries first." Naruto allowed the medics to examine him. They found no broken bones, no internal bleeding, no chakra exhaustion severe enough to explain the scars. His tenketsu were strained but not damaged. The scars, however, resisted medical classification. A medic nin touched one with diagnostic chakra and immediately pulled back. "What happened?" Kakashi asked. The medic swallowed. It felt like the chakra aged. Kakashi's eye moved to Naruto. Naruto looked away. He was very tired. That night, Naruto entered the mirror dimension alone. He knew he should not. Rule 6 specifically said, "Do not enter reflective spaces after dark seal usage." But the shadow had appeared in daylight now. It was getting closer. Avoiding it would not make it less real. So Naruto stood in the distorted reflection of Training Ground 7, surrounded by trees that bent in impossible angles beneath a sky made of fractured glass. Then he called out, "I know you're here." The mirror dimension rippled. For a moment, nothing happened. Then someone stepped from behind a reflected tree. Naruto, not exactly, the same face. The same blonde hair, the same whisker marks, but older in the eyes, colder, cleaner. This was Naruto with every softness removed. Naruto if loneliness had become calculation. Naruto if Strange's arrogance had survived without Strange's compassion. Naruto if the boy had looked at a cruel world and decided the problem was not cruelty, but inefficiency. The shadow smiled. Finally, Naruto kept his hands at his sides. "What are you?" The shadow walked slowly around him. "You know what I am." "No, Kurama said you're me." "Kurama is smarter than he sounds." "I heard that." Kurama growled faintly from somewhere deep within. The shadow's smile widened. "Good, the animal is listening." Naruto's eyes hardened. "Don't call him that." That amused the shadow. Attachment. Predictable, useful in small amounts, dangerous in excess. Naruto studied him. The voice was his, but not his. Same tone, same structure, but the warmth was gone. Every word landed like a diagnosis. "You're strange," Naruto said. "I am what strange would have become without failure." "No." Naruto replied, "Failure made him better. Failure made him sentimental. Failure made him human." The shadow tilted his head. Humanity is a charming excuse for poor decision-making. Naruto felt a chill. The mirror dimension trembled around them. The shadow looked toward the reflected forest. Orochimaru should be gone. He left. No, gone, Naruto understood. His stomach tightened. The shadow continued calmly. "You had the power. You touched the substrate. You could have erased the variable, not killed him. Killing is crude. You could have removed every pathway by which Orochimaru continues to damage the future." Naruto's voice was quiet. "You mean rewrite reality so he never matters?" "Yes." And then what? The shadow looked pleased, as if Naruto had asked the correct question. Then there is one fewer threat. One fewer corrupting influence on Sasuke, one fewer predator hunting children, one fewer future requiring correction. That's not protection. It is protection without theater. It's control. The shadow stopped walking. Control is what adults call responsibility when they dislike who holds it. Naruto did not answer immediately, because the worst part was not that the shadow sounded evil. It did not. It sounded reasonable. Cold, cruel, but reasonable. That made it more frightening. Naruto thought of Orochimaru's hand around Sasuke's throat. He thought of Sakura shaking but staying on watch. He thought of the dead trees. He thought of futures where everyone lived because he did something terrible quickly enough. The shadow stepped closer. "You feel it," it said. "The gap between what you can do and what they allow you to do." "Nobody allows me." "Not yet, but they will try." The shadow's eyes became darker. "They will call you weapon if they fear you, savior if they need you, monster if you refuse them. They will build names around you like cages." Naruto swallowed. "Maybe, not maybe." The shadow lifted one hand. A black circle formed around its fingers. "I can help you build the cage first." Naruto looked at the circle, then at the shadow. No, the word cracked through the mirror dimension. The shadow did not look angry, only disappointed. "You are wasting it." Naruto stepped back. "I am surviving it. For now." The shadow's body began to dissolve into reflected shards. Before it vanished, it smiled again, not happy, certain. "Learn faster, Naruto. The next person who forces your hand may not survive your hesitation." The mirror dimension collapsed. Naruto stood alone in the real training ground 7, breathing hard beneath the stars. A second later, Kakashi dropped from a tree. Naruto slowly turned. "How long were you there?" Kakashi's face was unreadable. "Long enough to hear you arguing with yourself." Naruto closed his eyes. "That sounds bad." "It wasn't great, I can explain." "Can you?" Naruto opened his eyes. For once, he had no clever answer. Kakashi walked closer and sat beside him on the grass, not standing over him, beside him. That mattered. After a while, Kakashi said, "When I was younger, people told me rules mattered more than comrades." Naruto listened. "I believed them. It cost me more than I knew how to pay." Kakashi looked up at the sky. "Later, someone taught me comrades mattered more than rules. He was right, mostly. Mostly, rules still matter." Kakashi said, "Not because villages write them, not because leaders enforce them. Rules matter because without them, pain starts making decisions for you." Naruto looked down at his hands. "I have rules." "I know. You read my notebook. You hide things badly." Naruto sighed. Kakashi's eye curved slightly, then he became serious again. "Add one more." Naruto looked at him. Kakashi said, "Don't decide alone." Naruto was quiet for a long time, then he nodded. "Okay." It was not a dramatic vow. No music swelled, no stars shifted. But somewhere deep inside the seal, Kurama relaxed by the smallest possible amount. And somewhere beyond Naruto's reflection, the shadow watched, waiting. Orochimaru remembered the feeling for days. Not pain. Pain was ordinary. This was absence. For one moment, inside that collapsing forest, the world had looked at Orochimaru and considered removing him. Not killing him, removing him. The distinction fascinated him. He sat in a hidden chamber beneath one of his temporary bases, the stolen grass body already discarded. Scrolls surrounded him. Notes covered the walls. Diagrams of seals, souls, chakra spirals, and dimensional models overlapped in frantic layers. Kabuto stood nearby, silent. Orochimaru's hand moved across a blank scroll. He tried to recreate the pattern he had sensed around Naruto's seal. Every attempt failed. The lines were correct in shape, but empty in meaning. It was like copying a sentence in a language that hated being written down. Kabuto adjusted his glasses. "Lord Orochimaru, is the Uchiha still the priority?" Orochimaru's brush stopped for a moment. Sasuke's face appeared in his mind. Sharingan, bloodline, vessel, excellent potential. Then Naruto's seal appeared, doors written onto a soul. Orochimaru smiled. Sasuke-kun remains valuable. Kabuto understood the wording. But Naruto-kun, Orochimaru's eyes gleamed. Naruto-kun is not a vessel. He looked at the failed diagram. He is an opening. Kabuto said nothing. Orochimaru laughed softly. I must have that seal system. On the scroll, one of the copied lines turned black. For a moment, the ink moved by itself. Orochimaru stopped smiling. The line opened like an eye. From somewhere impossibly far away, something looked back. Then the scroll burst into cold flame. Kabuto stepped forward. Orochimaru raised a hand to stop him. The flame burned without heat. The scroll became ash. Orochimaru stared at it. Then, slowly, delightedly, he began to laugh again. The preliminary matches began 2 days later. Sasuke fought with the curse mark suppressed, but Naruto could see the strain in every movement. Sakura watched him with worry she tried to disguise as focus. Naruto's own match was against a sound genin. That was not coincidence. He knew it immediately. The boy's chakra was tuned strangely, layered with vibration patterns designed to disrupt the nervous system. A weaponized sound user, useful against normal shinobi, unfortunate against Naruto. The match began. The sound genin raised his arm-mounted device. Naruto opened a small shield. The sound waves hit it and reflected backward. The sound genin dropped instantly, twitching but alive. The room went silent. Naruto looked at the proctor. Was that legal? Hayate coughed. Yes, Naruto nodded. Good. In the stands, Kakashi covered his visible eye with one hand. Guy, standing beside him, whispered, Your student is very youthful. Kakashi sighed. My student is going to create international paperwork. Sasuke watched Naruto leave the arena. His expression was unreadable, but his hand rested near the mark on his neck. And his thoughts were far from the match. He had seen Naruto erase a fight in one move. He had seen Naruto age a forest. He had seen Orochimaru, a monster that made every instinct in Sasuke scream, look at Naruto with hunger deeper than anything he had shown the Sharingan. For years, Sasuke had believed power had one purpose: reach Itachi, kill Itachi, end the nightmare. Now the nightmare had widened. The world contained things Itachi had never warned him about, things Naruto could touch, things Orochimaru wanted, things Sasuke could not even name. That was unacceptable. Not because Naruto was his enemy, that would have been easier. Because Naruto was becoming something Sasuke might someday need to stand beside. And Sasuke Uchiha refused to be irrelevant. That night, Naruto returned to his apartment and opened the notebook. He added a new rule, Rule 13. Don't decide alone. He stared at it. Then, after a moment, he added, This includes asking Sakura, Sasuke, Kakashi, and Kurama. Kurama will complain. Ask anyway. Inside the seal, Kurama growled. I can read that. Naruto smiled faintly. I know. Your handwriting is terrible. It is not. It looks like a spider fought a lightning bolt. Naruto looked at his notes. That was not entirely inaccurate. He closed the notebook and leaned back against the wall. For a moment, the room was quiet. Then the window reflected him, not perfectly. Naruto turned slowly in the glass. The shadow stood behind him, closer than before. Its eyes were the color of collapsed stars. Its mouth moved. No sound came, but Naruto understood. Soon. Naruto did not look away. He lifted one hand, and a small golden circle formed around his fingers. The reflection smiled. Naruto spoke softly. Not alone. The golden circle brightened. The reflection faded. Outside, Konoha slept under a peaceful sky. But beyond that sky, beyond chakra and stars and the thin skin of reality, something dark pressed its hand against the other side of the door. The price of rewriting had been paid once, and the debt was growing interest. Chapter 4, the Tribunal of Five, they called it a cage summit. That made it sound organized. Naruto quickly learned that summit was just a polite political word for a room full of powerful people pretending they were not threatening each other. The problem began with trees, not with Naruto, not officially. The report from the Forest of Death described an unclassified temporal anomaly inside the exam zone. 50 meters of forest had aged several centuries in seconds. The ground had changed composition. The insects in the area had gone through multiple life cycles before collapsing into dust. Even the air had tasted old for 3 days afterward. Konoha tried to contain the information. That failed immediately. Too many foreign genin had seen the dead zone. Too many proctors had sensed the dimensional pressure. Too many village representatives had noticed Orochimaru being thrown out of the forest boundary by something that was not ninjutsu, genjutsu, taijutsu, fuinjutsu, senjutsu, or anything else the shinobi world had a comfortable label for. Comfortable labels mattered. People feared monsters. But they feared unknown categories more. By the time the Chunin exams ended, the other villages had questions. By the time the first formal letters arrived, those questions had become accusations. By the time the Raikage sent his message, accusations had become demands. Explain the Uzumaki boy. Submit his abilities for international classification. Or accept that Konoha is hiding a forbidden weapon. Hiruzen Sarutobi read the message in silence. Then he folded it carefully. Then he said several words that would have shocked most academy students. Kakashi, standing near the window, looked mildly impressed. I didn't know you knew that one. I knew your father, Hiruzen said tiredly. Fair. Naruto sat in a chair across from the Hokage's desk, legs crossed, expression thoughtful. Sakura sat beside him, hands folded tightly in her lap. Sasuke leaned against the wall, arms crossed, curse mark hidden beneath a fresh suppression seal. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp in the way they always became when he felt the world moving around him without permission. Kakashi had insisted they all be present. Hiruzen had objected at first, then Naruto had said very quietly, if they're deciding what I am, I should hear it. No one had a good answer to that, so now they were here. Hiruzen placed the Raikage's letter on the desk. There will be a summit. Sakura's eyes widened. A real one? As real as shinobi politics gets, Naruto tilted his head. How real is that? Kakashi answered. Everyone lies, but formally. Naruto nodded. That sounds exhausting. It is. Hiruzen looked at Naruto. They will ask about your powers. I assumed they may demand restrictions. I assumed that too. They may demand custody. The room went quiet. Sakura's hands tightened. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Naruto's face did not change. That, more than anything, made Hiruzen's chest ache. A normal child would have been scared. Naruto was not fearless. Hiruzen knew that. Naruto was afraid of many things. Afraid of losing control. Afraid of becoming the reflection in the glass. Afraid of people he loved looking at him and seeing only danger. But he had already considered custody. Already imagined cages, already made contingency plans, probably. Naruto looked at the letter. They won't get it. Sakura turned to him. Naruto, he smiled at her, not brightly, not falsely, just enough. I'm not planning to start a war in the meeting room. Kakashi sighed. Thank you for specifying, Naruto continued. But I won't let them talk about me like I'm a scroll in a vault. Sasuke spoke for the first time. What if they don't give you a choice? Naruto looked at him. Something unspoken passed between them. Sasuke knew what it felt like to be discussed as bloodline, asset, survivor, symbol. Naruto knew Sasuke understood. Then, Naruto said, we find a better option before the worst one becomes necessary. Kakashi's eyes softened slightly. Rule 13, he thought. Don't decide alone. Good, the boy was trying. Far away, in a place where rain fell every day and grief had become architecture, Pain stood at the top of a tower and looked toward the horizon. A normal shinobi would not have sensed the forest of death incident from so far away. Pain was not normal. The Rinnegan did not merely see chakra. It understood pressure. It saw the way reality held itself together, the way chakra flowed through living things and through the world beneath them. It saw patterns most minds could not survive noticing, and recently Pain had felt a wrongness, a tremor beneath the surface. Something had pressed against the skin of the world from below, not the 10 tails, not yet, something else. Conan stood behind him, silent as folded paper. The reports are confirmed, she said. Konoha's Jinchuriki caused the anomaly. Pain did not turn. The 9 tails. No, that is the concern. Multiple witnesses say the fox's chakra did not manifest. Pain's Rinnegan narrowed. A Jinchuriki altering reality without using the beast. Conan said nothing. The rain tapped against stone. Pain lifted one hand. A raindrop stopped before touching his palm, suspended for the smallest instant, then fell. Move the timeline forward, he said. Conan's expression shifted. That may expose us earlier than planned. The world has changed earlier than planned. And Itachi, Pain was silent for a moment. Itachi will obey. Conan did not answer. They both knew that was not the same as truth. Itachi Uchiha received Pain's order 3 days later. He read it once, then burned it. Kasama watched from the other side of the abandoned shrine. That bad, Itachi's face remained unreadable. Pain wants the 9 tails captured sooner. Kasama smiled, showing sharp teeth. About time. The kid's been making noise. Itachi looked at the ash curling upward from the paper. Noise. That was one word for it. Itachi had read 3 separate accounts of the Forest of Death anomaly. He had also received a private message through a channel no one in Akatsuki knew he still maintained. Aged trees, dimensional tremor, no fox chakra. Orochimaru retreated. Uzumaki remains mentally stable but increasingly marked. Itachi had read the Uchiha stone tablet, not all of it. Not as much as Madara had, not as much as someone with the Rinnegan could, but enough. Enough to know the infinite Tsukuyomi was not merely a genjutsu, it was an overwrite, a dream written onto the surface of the world, a prison made beautiful enough that people would call it peace. Every countermeasure Itachi knew existed inside reality. Chakra disruption, Sharingan resistance, pain tolerance, willpower. None of it mattered if the technique wrote the dream onto the layer beneath perception. But Naruto Uzumaki, Naruto's power, if the reports were accurate, touched that lower layer, not safely, not cleanly, but it touched it. That made him dangerous. It also made him necessary. Kasama leaned same harder against his shoulder. You're thinking too hard again. Yes, that usually means we're about to do something annoying. Itachi closed his eyes briefly, then opened them. We are not capturing the 9 tails yet. Kasama's grin widened. Pain gave an order. I know, you disobeying, I am interpreting. Very Uchiha of you. Itachi turned toward the shrine exit. Kasama followed. Where are we going? To confirm something. About the kid. Itachi did not answer. Kasama chuckled. Definitely annoying. The summit was held in neutral territory. Neutral, in Shinobi politics, meant everyone had agreed not to start killing each other until after the meeting. The location was an old fortress built into a mountain pass, once used by minor lords who had been wealthy enough to build stone walls and foolish enough to believe walls could protect them from ninja. Now the fortress had banners from 5 nations hanging in the central chamber. Fire, wind, lightning, earth, water. Naruto stood outside the main doors and looked up at them. They're very dramatic. Kakashi stood beside him. That's politics. Do the banners help? They help everyone remember which direction to glare. Sakura, standing on Naruto's other side, took a steadying breath. Sasuke had not been allowed into the main chamber. Officially, only the subject of discussion, his guardian representatives, and designated witnesses could attend. Sasuke had accepted that with suspicious calm. Naruto suspected he was nearby anyway, possibly on a roof. Possibly in a ventilation shaft. Possibly both if he had found a way. Hiruzen approached slowly, dressed in formal Hokage robes. He looked older than Naruto had ever seen him, not weaker, just more aware of time. Naruto, Hiruzen said. Once we enter, speak carefully. Naruto nodded. Carefully does not mean silently. Hiruzen studied him. No, he said softly. It does not. The doors opened. The chamber inside was circular, because apparently political symbolism demanded everyone sit around a shape that implied equality while absolutely not believing in it. The 5 Kage were already present. Hiruzen Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage of Konoha, took his seat. The 4th Raikage sat like a thunderstorm forced into a chair. Massive, tense, radiating impatience. The Tsuchikage, Anoki, floated slightly above his cushion, Old eyes narrowed with the suspicious wisdom of a man who had survived by trusting almost no one. The Kazekage seat was occupied by a representative under heavy guard. Officially, the Sans leadership was in transition after recent instability. Unofficially, everyone knew Orochimaru's interference had shaken more than one nation. The Mizukage's representative watched through calm eyes and said nothing. Naruto stood in the center of the room. He felt every gaze land on him, not as a boy, as a problem, a possible weapon, a possible disaster, a possible answer. The Dark Multiverse scars beneath his sleeves prickled. Inside the seal, Kurama stirred. "They smell fear," the fox muttered. Naruto silently replied, "Everyone does eventually." Kurama huffed. Hiruzen began. "Naruto Uzumaki is a citizen and shinobi of Konoha. He is under my protection and command." The Raikage leaned forward. "He is a Jinchuriki who altered reality during an international examination." Naruto looked at him. The Raikage looked back. The man's chakra was immense, sharp, physical. It moved like lightning trapped in muscle. Naruto could respect that. The Raikage was not subtle, but he was not stupid. His fear came dressed as aggression because that was how his village survived. Hiruzen said, "He acted in defense of his team against Orochimaru." Anoki's eyes sharpened. Orochimaru, a convenient detail. Sakura, standing behind Naruto as a witness, spoke before fear could stop her. "It's true." Several eyes shifted to her. She stood straighter. "Orochimaru attacked us in the Forest of Death. He marked Sasuke Uchiha with a cursed seal. Naruto drove him away." The Raikage grunted, "with a technique that aged a forest." Naruto said, "Yes." The chamber quieted. Hiruzen looked at him, warning in his eyes. Naruto understood. But he also knew evasion would make things worse. The Raikage's gaze hardened. "You admit it." "I did it." "Can you do it again?" Naruto paused. "Yes." Several guards shifted. Kakashi's hand remained relaxed at his side. Too relaxed. That meant not relaxed at all. The Raikage stood. "Then Konoha is harboring an unclassified mass destruction technique inside a genin." Naruto looked up at him. "I'm not inside a genin. I am the genin." The Raikage's eyes flashed. "Do not play word games with me, boy." "I'm not," Naruto said. "That difference is the entire point." Anoki made a small sound, not agreement, interest. The Raikage said, "Your point does not matter if you can erase a battlefield." Naruto's voice stayed level. "I didn't erase a battlefield. You aged an entire section of forest to remove one threat. You call that controlled?" "No." Naruto said, "I call it necessary. There's a difference." The Raikage took one step forward. Hiruzen's chakra rose. Kakashi's visible eye sharpened. The guards around the room tensed. Then Anoki laughed. Dry, quiet, ancient. Everyone looked at him. "Sit down, eh?" The Raikage glared. Anoki floated higher. "If the boy wanted to attack us, he would not be explaining vocabulary." Naruto blinked. He had not expected that. Anoki looked at him. "You are either very brave or very foolish." Naruto considered. "I've been told both by reliable sources." Kakashi coughed into his fist. The Mizukage's representative almost smiled. The Raikage sat, but not peacefully. Anoki folded his hands. "Explain yourself, Naruto Uzumaki." Hiruzen began to object. Naruto raised a hand slightly, not to silence him, to ask permission. Hiruzen hesitated, then nodded. Naruto stepped forward. The room seemed too large. He was 13 years old, a genin, a boy who still liked ramen too much and had once accidentally opened a portal into the Hokage's bathroom. But inside him lived Strange's forensic mind, Kurama's ancient pressure, and a set of dark doors that whispered whenever fear got too loud. He could not afford to sound like a child. He also could not afford to stop being one. "You are afraid of what I'll do if left unaccountable," Naruto said. "That is reasonable." The Raikage narrowed his eyes, surprised despite himself. Naruto continued. "I am afraid of what I'll become if I'm treated as a weapon. That is also reasonable." The chamber grew still. "These are the same fear from two directions. You think I might become dangerous because no one controls me. I think I might become dangerous if everyone tries." Anoki watched him carefully. Naruto's hands remained at his sides. No circles, no seals, no display of power, just words. I am not only a Jinchuriki, I am not only a Shinobi. I am not only whatever name you are trying to invent for me in your reports. I am the first of something new, and I don't fully understand it yet. The Raikage said, "That is not comforting." "No," Naruto agreed, "but it is honest." That landed harder than comfort would have. Naruto looked around the chamber. If you decide I'm a weapon, then every choice becomes about who points me. If you decide I'm a monster, every choice becomes about who kills me first. If you decide I'm a child, you will underestimate the danger. If you decide I'm a god, you will make even worse mistakes. The scars under his sleeves pulsed once. He ignored them. "So let's agree on something more useful. I am responsible." The Raikage scoffed. "You are 13? "Yes. That is not old enough to be responsible for power that can alter reality." Naruto looked directly at him. "Then help me build rules before fear builds cages." That silenced him. Naruto turned slightly, including all of them. "I have rules already. I don't use the dark fractures unless there is no other option. I don't decide alone. I document what I learn. I train under supervision. I keep the 9 tails informed because Kurama understands dangerous power better than most humans do." The room reacted to that. The Raikage's eyebrows rose. Anoki's eyes narrowed. Hiruzen looked like he had aged 3 years in 1 second. "You speak with the 9 tails?" asked the Mizukage's representative. Naruto shrugged. "He mostly complains." Inside the seal, Kurama growled, "I do not mostly complain." Naruto silently replied, "You are complaining right now." Kurama went quiet out of spite. The Raikage leaned forward again, but less aggressively this time. "And why should any of us trust your rules?" Naruto answered immediately. "You shouldn't." That surprised them. Trust is earned by verification. So verify. Send observers, not jailers, not handlers. Observers, let them watch training, let them compare reports, let them help classify what can be classified. Hiruzen looked at Naruto sharply. That was not part of the plan, Naruto knew, but the plan had involved surviving the meeting. Naruto wanted something better. "If you help create the framework," Naruto said, "you have less reason to fear Konoha hiding it, and I have less reason to fear being buried under secrecy until I become exactly what you're afraid of." The chamber held its breath. Anoki was the first to speak. "You would allow foreign observers to study your abilities?" Naruto nodded. "With limits." "Set by Konoha, set by all of us." The Raikage barked a laugh. "You think 5 nations can agree on rules for a power none of us understand?" Naruto looked at him. "You agree on war rules all the time." The Raikage's expression darkened. Naruto added, "Badly, but still." Kakashi stared at the ceiling. Sakura looked like she wanted to both hide and applaud. Anoki laughed again. This time it had a little warmth. "He has you there, eh?" The Raikage grunted. "I don't like this." "I would be worried if you did," Naruto said. The Raikage glared. Naruto looked away first, not out of fear, out of respect. That mattered, Anoki noticed. After a long silence, the old Tsuchikage spoke. "Let the boy speak for himself until he gives us reason not to." The Raikage turned. "You cannot be serious. I am old, not senile. This power could threaten every nation." "Yes," Anoki said, "so could every Jinchuriki, so could every cage, so could a clever enough medic with poison and patience. The world has never lacked dangerous people." His gaze returned to Naruto. "What interests me is that this one is asking for rules before conquest." The Raikage said nothing. Anoki lowered himself slightly. "I vote against containment." Hiruzen's relief did not show, but Naruto felt it. The Sand representative, after a long pause, followed. Water abstained from harsher action, requesting formal observation. The Raikage was last. His jaw tightened. Finally, he said, "Cloud will send an observer. If I believe Konoha is hiding anything, I will treat it as a hostile act." Naruto nodded. "That is fair. It is a threat." "Yes," Naruto said. "Those can be fair." For 1 second, the Raikage looked like he might smile. He did not, but the edge of the room loosened. The summit did not end in agreement, not truly. It ended in something thinner but more useful, a pause. Naruto walked out free, which was not the same as safe. He knew the difference. Sasuke was waiting outside, on the roof. Naruto looked up. Sasuke looked down. Sakura followed Naruto's gaze and sighed, of course. Kakashi did not look surprised. Sasuke jumped down lightly. How bad? Naruto thought about it. Less bad than a kidnapping, more bad than ramen. Sasuke stared. Sakura said, "That tells us nothing." "It tells you the emotional range." Kakashi nodded solemnly. "Important metric." Sakura rubbed her temples. Sasuke's gaze moved to Naruto's sleeves. "Did they see the scars?" "No. Did you tell them?" "Not directly." Sasuke understood what that meant. He stepped closer and lowered his voice. "They'll come for you eventually." Naruto looked toward the mountain road. "Maybe. That doesn't bother you." "It bothers me." "You don't look bothered." Naruto smiled faintly. "I've had practice." Sasuke's expression tightened. For a moment neither spoke. Then Sasuke said, "Orochimaru has records, old ones. He said there are relics that predate the villages." Naruto turned. Sakura frowned. "When did he say that?" Sasuke's jaw tensed in the mark. The air changed. Kakashi's eyes sharpened. Sasuke continued, voice controlled. "When it burns, sometimes there are impressions, not words, images, places, tools, things he wants." Naruto's face became serious. "Sasuke, I'm not joining him." "No one said you were." Sasuke looked at him. "But I am going to find out what he knows." Sakura stepped forward. "That sounds exactly like the beginning of joining him." Sasuke's eyes flashed. "I'm not weak enough to be taken by a mark." Naruto's voice softened. "The mark doesn't need you weak. It needs you alone." That struck harder than Sasuke expected. His anger faltered for half a second. Naruto saw it. So did Sakura. Kakashi said nothing, but his hand rested very slightly closer to his kunai pouch. Not because he planned to attack Sasuke, because he was prepared for the moment Sasuke's pride turned into motion. Sasuke looked away first. "I won't be irrelevant," he said. Naruto understood too well. The words were not only about Itachi anymore, they were about Orochimaru, about Madara, though Sasuke did not know that name yet, about Naruto, about a world that had become too large for revenge to be enough. Naruto wanted to tell him he was not irrelevant. But simple comfort would insult Sasuke's intelligence, so Naruto said, "Then don't search alone." Sasuke looked back. Naruto held his gaze. "Rule 13. Sakura blinked. "You numbered your friendship advice." "It's not friendship advice, it's operational safety." Kakashi murmured, "Deeply normal." Sasuke stared at Naruto for a long moment, then he said, "Fine." Sakura exhaled. Naruto smiled. "Good." Sasuke pointed at him. "But if you make a teamwork speech, I'm leaving." Naruto closed his mouth. Kakashi looked devastated. "I had one prepared." "No, you didn't," Sakura said. "I always have one prepared." They left the summit at dusk. The mountain road wound between tall pines and old stone markers. Guards followed at a distance. Kakashi walked behind Team 7, relaxed enough to look lazy and alert enough to be terrifying. Naruto felt the presence before he saw him, not hostile, not safe either. A pressure in the air like a blade kept sheathed by choice. He stopped. Kakashi stopped too. Sakura noticed immediately. Sasuke's hand moved to his weapon pouch. A figure stood on the road ahead, black cloak, no red clouds visible, no partner. Itachi Uchiha looked exhausted, not wounded, not weak. Just tired in a way that had settled behind his eyes and made a home there. Sasuke froze. Everything in him changed. The curse mark pulsed beneath its seal. Sakura whispered, "Sasuke." Sasuke did not hear her. His Sharingan activated instantly. Kakashi moved not between Sasuke and Itachi. Between Sasuke and his own first impulse. Itachi's gaze flicked to Kakashi, then to Sasuke. For one painful second, the brothers looked at each other. Sasuke's voice came out low. "You!" Itachi did not answer him. That was cruel, maybe necessary. Still cruel, his eyes shifted to Naruto. "I am not here to fight." Naruto believed him. Sasuke did not. Lightning cracked faintly around Sasuke's hand as chakra surged. Kakashi said quietly, "Sasuke!" The name held warning. Sasuke trembled with contained violence. Naruto stepped forward. Sakura grabbed his sleeve. "Naruto, don't." He looked at her. "I have to." "No, you really don't." A small smile touched his face. "That's usually when I do." He gently pulled free and walked toward Itachi. Itachi watched him approach. No fear, no surprise, only assessment. Naruto stopped several paces away. I know you're not here to capture me. Itachi's eyes sharpened by the smallest degree. Good. Behind Naruto, Sasuke looked like the statement physically hurt. Itachi spoke softly. The infinite Tsukuyomi casts a genjutsu onto the surface of reality. Naruto went still. The words sank into him like cold water. Itachi continued. If Madara's plan succeeds, every living mind in this dimension will be dreaming. Kakashi's posture changed. Sakura looked confused but frightened. Sasuke's fury flickered, interrupted by the name Madara. Naruto's voice was quiet. Every mind? Yes, and you believe I'm an exception. I believe you may be the only exception. Naruto swallowed. Why? Itachi's gaze did not waver. Because your power does not operate only on the surface of reality. It touches what lies beneath it. The dark multiverse scars burned cold. Inside the seal, Kurama rose silently. Itachi continued. A dream written on reality cannot easily hold someone whose soul is anchored below the writing. Naruto understood immediately and wished he did not. He saw it, a world asleep, a perfect dream, peace without choice. And one person awake inside it, standing alone beneath a false sky, holding the crack open with both hands until his strength gave out. Naruto's mouth went dry. It means, he said slowly, I'd know. Itachi nodded. Naruto looked at him. If everyone else was dreaming, I'd be the only one who knew it happened. Yes. Sakura's face paled. Sasuke looked from Itachi to Naruto, anger colliding with confusion. Naruto felt the road beneath his feet. The trees, the evening air, the fragile, imperfect world around him, alive, messy, cruel. Beautiful, still choosing, Itachi's voice lowered. Pain wants you captured sooner than planned. I will delay what I can, not forever. Why tell me? Itachi's gaze shifted briefly to Sasuke, then away, because some weapons should never be completed. Naruto studied him. There was so much hidden in Itachi that even Naruto's senses could not untangle it cleanly. Guilt, resolve, love buried so deep it had become indistinguishable from self-harm. You don't want me captured, Naruto said. No. You don't want me dead. No. You want me intact. Itachi nodded. Sasuke made a harsh sound. Incredible, he said, voice shaking. You'll talk to him, but not me. Itachi closed his eyes for half a second. When he opened them, they were colder. Sasuke. The name hit like a blade. Sasuke stepped forward. Kakashi caught his shoulder. Sasuke almost fought him. Almost. Itachi looked at Naruto again. You must learn the difference between rewriting the world and saving it. Naruto's throat tightened. I'm trying. I know. For some reason that made Naruto angrier than doubt would have. Itachi turned to leave. Sasuke shouted. Don't you dare walk away from me. Itachi stopped, but he did not turn around. You are not ready. Sasuke's chakra flared. Naruto looked at Itachi's back, then at Sasuke. Then he understood something terrible. Itachi had not come only to warn Naruto, he had come to push Sasuke. Not toward Orochimaru exactly, but toward motion, toward growth, toward pain. Naruto hated him for that. Strange's memories understood necessary cruelty. Naruto's heart rejected it. Itachi, Naruto said. The Uchiha paused. Naruto's voice was quiet but sharp. If you keep making people into tools for your plans, eventually even the good outcome will be poisoned. Itachi did not move. For 1 second, his shoulders looked unbearably heavy. Then he said, I know, and vanished into crows. Sasuke surged forward, but there was nothing to attack. Only feathers dissolving into the evening. The road remained. The warning remained. The name Madara remained, and Naruto stood very still, feeling the future widen into something vast and dark. That night, camp was silent. No one wanted to sleep. Kakashi took watch from a tree branch. Sakura sat near the fire, pretending to organize supplies. Sasuke stood at the edge of the clearing, staring into the dark as if rage alone could summon Itachi back. Naruto sat apart and entered the seal. Kurama was waiting. The fox did not greet him with an insult. That was concerning. Madara, Naruto said. Kurama's tails moved slowly through the dark water. Yes, you know him. Yes, Naruto waited, Kurama's eyes burned. Uchiha Madara was a man who looked at the world's pain and decided the answer was to put everyone to sleep. Naruto looked down. That's not peace. No, it's control. Yes. The water rippled. Naruto looked toward the margins of the chamber. The dark cracks pulsed quietly. The shadow stood reflected in the water. Closer now, listening, Naruto said, Itachi thinks I might be the only person who can resist it. Kurama's voice was low. He may be right. Naruto closed his eyes. The weight of it settled on him. Not heroism, not glory, responsibility. The kind that did not care whether he was ready. The reflection smiled. Naruto opened his eyes and looked directly at it. No, Kurama's ears twitched. The reflection tilted its head. Naruto's voice hardened. I know what you're thinking. The shadow mouthed silently from the water. Do you? Naruto stepped closer to the reflection. You think if the world can be overwritten, we should overwrite it first. The reflection's smile widened. Kurama growled. Naruto crouched and touched the water. Golden light spread from his fingers, disrupting the reflection. Not alone, he whispered. The shadow vanished for now. Kurama watched him. You are either becoming wiser or more annoying. Both can be true, H.N. Naruto sat in the water, suddenly exhausted. Kurama? What? If everyone falls asleep. The fox's gaze sharpened. Naruto did not finish. He did not need to. Kurama lowered his enormous head behind the bars. If that day comes, the Nine-Tails said, you will not be alone. Naruto looked up. Kurama bared his teeth. Do not make that face. I live in your stomach. Your loneliness is inconvenient for me. Naruto laughed softly. It echoed through the chamber. For a moment, even the dark cracks seemed quieter. By morning, Sasuke was gone, not fully, not in the dramatic way he might have been in another timeline. He had left a note. That was progress. Sakura insisted through clenched teeth. The note was short. I'm following a lead from Orochimaru's impressions, not joining him, not alone forever. Don't follow yet. Sakura looked ready to tear the paper in half. Naruto? I know, he said, don't follow yet. I can read. He is absolutely doing something stupid. Yes. Kakashi looked at the note, then at the tree line. He's going after artifacts. Naruto nodded. Probably. Sakura turned on him. Why are you calm? Naruto was not calm. He was running 14 possible outcomes in his mind and rejecting 9 because they ended with Sasuke trapped, 3 because they ended with Sakura hurt, and 1 because it involved opening a portal into a volcano, which felt excessive. I'm not calm, he said. I'm choosing not to panic out loud. Sakura deflated slightly. Oh, Naruto folded the note. He said, not alone forever. Kakashi's eyes softened. That means he heard you, or he found a dramatic loophole. Also possible. Sakura took a breath. What do we do? Naruto looked toward the road where Itachi had vanished. Then toward the direction Sasuke had gone. Then inward, where Kurama waited and the shadow watched from somewhere it could not yet reach. We prepare, Naruto said. We find out what relics Orochimaru knows about. We keep the observers from turning my life into a circus. We learn everything we can about Madara and the infinite Tsukuyomi. Sakura nodded slowly. And Sasuke, Naruto looked at the note again, his voice softened. We don't let him decide alone. Kakashi smiled beneath his mask. Good answer. Naruto glanced at him. You had a speech prepared, didn't you? Several. Please don't. No promises. They packed camp. The road ahead was no longer simple. Maybe it had never been. Behind them was the summit, where the world had decided Naruto was too dangerous to ignore, but not yet too dangerous to cage. Ahead was Akatsuki, Madara, Orochimaru's relics, Sasuke's hunger, and a dream that might one day cover the sky. And somewhere between all of it walked Naruto Uzumaki. Not a weapon, not a monster, not a god. A boy with too much power, too many memories, and a notebook full of rules he desperately hoped would be enough. As they started back toward Konoha, the sun rose over the mountains. For one brief moment, the light hit Naruto's forehead protector and flashed gold. In that reflection, he saw another version of himself walking beside him, The shadow, silent, patient, Naruto did not look away. The shadow mouthed one word, soon. Naruto touched the folded note in his pocket, then he looked forward. Not yet, he whispered. The road continued. The tribunal was over. The trial had only begun. Chapter 5, The War on the Seam of the World. For 2 years, Naruto Uzumaki lived under observation, not imprisonment, not officially. The difference mattered to politicians. It mattered less to Naruto. Every week, representatives from the allied villages entered a sealed training ground outside Konoha and watched him practice techniques they could barely describe. Cloud sent a censor nin with lightning-fast reflexes and absolutely no sense of humor. Stone sent an old Fuinjutsu scholar who pretended not to be fascinated. Mist sent a quiet woman who wrote everything down and never asked the same question twice. Sand sent a puppet specialist who kept trying to explain Naruto's spell circles as invisible puppet strings, which was wrong but at least interesting. Naruto learned to tolerate them, barely. He would stand in the center of the field, roll his shoulders, and perform demonstrations under Kakashi's supervision. Geometric shields, mirror shards, short-distance portals, dimensional pockets no bigger than a storage scroll, future sight exercises with strict time limits. No Dark Multiverse seal usage. That was the rule all villages agreed upon first. No one liked the dark scars running beneath Naruto's skin. They had faded since the Forest of Death, but never vanished. Under normal light, they looked like old stress marks. Under chakra sense, they looked like cracks in glass. Under Naruto's own perception, they looked like doors pretending to be scars. So he did not open them. For 2 years, he built discipline instead. He learned Sage Mode from Jiraiya, though the process was less, training montage and more. 2 stubborn men arguing with frogs while Naruto tried not to turn into a statue. The first time Naruto entered a proper sage state, Mount Myaboku went silent. Natural energy did not enter him like chakra entered other sages. It recognized him. It flowed through the eldritch geometry inside his soul and changed shape, not becoming sorcery, not becoming chakra, but something that held hands with both. Golden circles turned green at their edges. His chakra senses expanded until he could feel ants beneath stone and clouds thinking about rain. Fukasaku stared at him for a long time. Then he said, "That boy ain't normal." Jiraiya rubbed his face. "Thank you, great elder of frogs. We were all unsure." Naruto liked Mount Myaboku. The frogs were strange, loud, opinionated, and mostly honest. It felt like family. Kurama hated that Naruto liked it. "They smell like wet stone," the fox complained. "You live in a sewer chamber inside my soul." "That is architectural, not personal," Naruto laughed. Kurama pretended not to enjoy it. The problem with peace was that it gave everyone time to prepare for war. Pain moved faster. The Akatsuki began capturing Jinchuriki at an accelerated pace. Villages that had once treated the threat like a distant storm now found themselves counting missing hosts. Broken alliances and battlefields emptied too quickly. Itachi delayed what he could, not openly. Never openly. He redirected missions, lost messages, misinterpreted orders with the kind of calm precision that made treason look like logistics. Kasama noticed, of course. Kasama noticed everything behind that shark-toothed grin one night beneath a moonless sky. Kasama said, "You're protecting the Nine-Tails kid." Itachi did not look at him. "I am protecting the world." Kasama chuckled. "That sounds like something a man says when he's protecting one kid." Itachi's silence was answer enough. Sasuke was gone for most of those 2 years, not missing, not exactly. He sent messages through dead drops. Kakashi pretended not to find too quickly. Short notes, coordinates, warnings. Sometimes diagrams of relics Orochimaru had mentioned through the curse mark impressions, a bronze ring that generated false gravity. A cracked mirror from before the Warring States period, rumored to show paths not taken. A chain-link seal tablet older than any recorded village. Most were traps, some were real. Sasuke hunted them anyway. He was not becoming a sorcerer. Naruto understood that better than anyone. Sasuke did not want Naruto's path. He wanted a way to stand inside the same scale of conflict without being crushed by it. He wanted tools that could interact with reality when eyes and fire were not enough. Naruto worried about him constantly. Sakura worried louder. Kakashi worried silently, which was worse. Then, 3 months before the war began, Sasuke returned. He arrived at Training Ground 7 at sunrise wearing a dark cloak, new scars on his hands, and an expression that said he would rather fight 3S rank missing nin than discuss his feelings. Sakura punched him in the face, not hard enough to break anything, hard enough to make a point. Sasuke accepted it. Naruto watched the exchange with interest. Should I also punch him? Sakura glared. No, Sasuke wiped blood from his lip. I deserved that. That's why I did it, Sakura said. Kakashi, standing nearby with his book open, nodded. Healthy team communication. Sasuke looked at Naruto. I found something. Naruto's smile faded. Sasuke reached into his cloak and removed a small object wrapped in sealing cloth. When the cloth came away, the air tightened. It was a fragment of metal no bigger than a kunai handle, shaped like part of a broken ring. Its surface was covered in symbols that were not ninja script, not Uzumaki seals, and not exactly eldritch notation. But Naruto recognized the pressure. Dimensional. Sakura stepped closer. What is it? Sasuke looked at Naruto. A key, or part of one. Naruto did not touch it. Behind his ribs, the Dark Multiverse scars pulsed once. Inside the seal, Kurama growled. Naruto whispered, Where did you find it? Sasuke's eyes lowered. One of Orochimaru's vaults. Kakashi's voice sharpened. You went into Orochimaru's vault, one of them. That clarification does not help. Sasuke ignored him. There were notes. Old ones. Orochimaru thought these fragments were connected to pre-chakra dimensional movement. He didn't understand them. Naruto looked at the metal. But someone did. Sasuke nodded. The notes referenced Madara. The name changed the air. Naruto felt the future narrow, then widen like a path revealing itself only because the cliff beside it had collapsed. The war began with a declaration and a disappearance. The declaration came from the masked man calling himself Madara Uchiha. The disappearance was the last free Jinchuriki outside Naruto. By then, the villages had no choice left but alliance. Fear did what morality had failed to do. The Shinobi alliance formed under a sky that felt too calm for what was coming. Naruto stood among thousands of shinobi and felt their chakra signatures stretching across the land like a living map. Stone, cloud, sand, mist, leaf. Old enemies standing shoulder to shoulder because the alternative was a dream prison built by a dead man's ambition. He should have felt hope. Instead, he felt weight. Too much death gathered in one place created pressure, not spiritual in the poetic sense. Literal. The Dark Multiverse seals responded to mass fear and coming lost the way a locked door responds to someone testing the handle. Naruto pressed one hand to his stomach. Not now, he whispered. Kurama's voice rumbled inside him. They are hungry. I know. Not the enemy, the doors. The war front spread quickly. White Zetsu forces flooded through forests and valleys. Reanimated legends walked again. Dead shinobi forced into motion by jutsu that treated history like a weapon cabinet. The alliance fought with courage, desperation, and the terrible efficiency of people who knew there might not be a second chance. Naruto moved as a reserve. That had been his decision. Not because he was afraid to fight, because everyone was afraid of what would happen if he fought too much. He saved units with portals, redirected attacks with shields, used Sage Mode to locate hidden enemies, opened mirror dimension pockets to trap explosive blasts before they could reach medical camps. He fought like a surgeon, not a storm, precise, controlled, careful. Again and again, commanders demanded more. Send Uzumaki to the front. Have him open a dimensional breach. Use the dark technique from the forest. End this quickly. Every time Naruto said no, some praised his restraint, some called it arrogance, some whispered cowardice. Kurama found that last one hilarious. You are many things, brat. Coward is not among them. Naruto ducked under a Zetsu strike and knocked it backward with a golden shield. Was that a compliment? No, a correction. I'll take it. He saved people. He lost people anyway. That was war. The Eye of Agamotto made it worse. Every time Naruto used future sight, he saw possible deaths branching from every choice. A squad saved in one timeline was lost in another. A medic lived if Naruto turned left, but a censor died if he did not turn right. Sometimes there were no clean outcomes, only different shapes of grief. After the third day, he stopped sleeping. After the fifth, Sakura found him sitting on a broken wall, staring at his hands. "You're doing it again," she said. Naruto did not look up. "Doing what?" "Counting the people you couldn't save." His silence answered. Sakura climbed onto the wall and sat beside him. She had changed in 2 years too. Her hands were steadier now. Her chakra control had become sharp enough to close wounds that would have killed others. Her kindness had not softened. It had grown armor. "You told Sasuke once the mark doesn't need you weak," she said. "It needs you alone." Naruto closed his eyes. "I remember. That applies to you too," he laughed faintly. "I hate when my advice becomes reusable." "You should stop giving good advice then." He looked at her. For a moment he saw 17 futures. In some, Sakura was older, in some she was gone. He closed the eye before the visions could deepen. She noticed. "Don't do that when you look at me." "I'm sorry." "I'm not a possible casualty, Naruto. I'm your teammate." That hit harder than she intended. Or maybe exactly as hard as she intended. Naruto nodded. "I'll try to remember." Sakura bumped his shoulder with hers. "Good, because if you turn into a silent tragic hero, I'm punching you too." Naruto smiled. "I'll warn Sasuke he has competition." The shadow strange appeared on the 7th day. Not in a mirror, not in water, not at the edge of Naruto's sight. He stepped out of Naruto's shadow in the middle of a battlefield, quietly, no explosion. No dramatic laugh, no storm of dark magic. One moment, Naruto's shadow stretched across broken ground. The next, someone walked out of it. The fighting around them slowed. A cloud shinobi stumbled backward. A stone censor dropped his kunai. Sakura, 15 meters away, turned and went completely still. The figure looked like Naruto. Same blonde hair, same whisker marks, same face, but his eyes were dark with dead stars, and his expression carried a calm so precise it felt inhuman. Naruto froze. The shadow looked around the battlefield with mild interest. So this is what they do with freedom. Naruto's hands curled. "Go back." The shadow turned to him. "I can't." "Yes, you can." "No," the shadow said softly. "You misunderstand. I'm not coming from the seals anymore." The battlefield noise seemed distant. Naruto's throat tightened. The shadow stepped closer. "I'm coming from you?" Kurama roared inside the seal, slamming chakra against the bars. Naruto did not move. Sakura approached carefully, chakra gathering in her fists. "Naruto?" The shadow looked at her. Naruto immediately stepped between them. The shadow smiled. Attachment, still his favorite weakness? Naruto's voice went cold. "Don't." The shadow held up both hands, almost amused. "I'm not here to hurt your friends." "Then why are you here?" "To watch." "That's worse." Usually, a blast tore across the field nearby. Naruto reacted on instinct, forming a shield wide enough to protect Sakura and 3 wounded shinobi. The shadow watched the geometry unfold, still using the shallow forms. "They work. They delay." Naruto turned sharply. "They save people." The shadow looked past him at the battlefield. "Some." Naruto hated him, not because he was wrong, because he was selective. Because he spoke like the dead were numbers and the living were variables, because part of Naruto understood the temptation of that view. Sakura stepped beside Naruto. "I don't care what you are," she said to the shadow. "But if you're part of him, then you should know better than to talk like that." The shadow studied her. For one moment, something flickered behind those starless eyes, not warmth, recognition, maybe. "You are one of the reasons he remains inefficient." Sakura smiled sweetly. "Thank you." Naruto almost laughed. The shadow's gaze returned to him. "You will need me soon." "No." "Yes." A horn sounded across the battlefield. The enemy was retreating for now. The shadow began to fade, dissolving back into Naruto's shadow. Before he vanished, he said, "Madara is coming." Naruto looked toward the horizon. "So are we." Madara Uchiha returned to the world like history kicking open its grave. When he appeared on the battlefield, everything changed. The reanimated legends had been dangerous. Madara was different. He did not fight like a soldier. He fought like a verdict. Entire divisions broke against him. Jutsu that would have erased fortresses were dismissed with casual precision. Taijutsu masters were thrown aside. Ninjutsu vanished into absorption. Genjutsu reflected back upon its casters. The battlefield became a demonstration of why some names survive generations not as history, but as warning. Naruto arrived when the ground was already split open and the air tasted of dust. He landed beside Gaara, who was breathing hard but standing. The Kazekage glanced at him. "You waited long enough," Naruto looked at Madara. "I was hoping the world would become reasonable." Gaara's mouth twitched. "It rarely does." Madara turned. His eyes settled on Naruto. For a long moment he said nothing. Then he smiled. "Ah, just that." Ah, as if Naruto confirmed a suspicion. Naruto felt the Dark Multiverse scars burn. Madara walked toward him slowly. "You are the anomaly." Naruto formed a golden circle around one hand. "You are the dead man causing scheduling problems." A few exhausted shinobi nearby stared. Gaara murmured, "Bold." Kurama chuckled inside him. Madara's smile widened. "I've been called worse by better." "I doubt it." Madara moved. Naruto saw it through 3 layers at once. Physical motion, chakra flow, possible outcomes. He raised a shield before Madara's war fan struck. The impact drove him backward 10 meters, boots carving lines through stone. The shield cracked but held. Madara's eyebrows lifted. "Interesting." Naruto opened 2 portals, redirecting Gaara's sand behind Madara while forming mirror shards around the Uchiha's blind spots. Madara responded instantly. Susanoo ribs erupted around him, shattering the mirror pattern. He turned, caught the sand with raw force and launched it back hard enough to crater the ground. Naruto stepped through a portal and appeared above him. Sage mode active, golden-green geometry spiraling around his hand. Madara looked up. Their eyes met. For 1 second, Naruto saw what Madara was. Not just power, belief hardened into a weapon. A man who had suffered, loved, lost, and concluded that choice itself was the flaw. Naruto struck. Madara blocked. The shockwave flattened the nearest ridge, and Madara laughed, not mockingly, joyfully. "You are not using your true power." Naruto landed, breathing hard. "Neither are you." Madara's eyes gleamed. "Then let us not disappoint each other." The 10 tails roared in the distance. The war shifted again. The infinite Tsukuyomi began under a broken sky. Madara's ascension was not clean. It was monstrous, brilliant, and terrifyingly inevitable. The 10 tails' power folded into him. The Rinnegan opened upon his forehead. The moon became an eye. The battlefield stopped fighting because every living thing felt the same pressure at once. A dream preparing to become law. Naruto stood on cracked ground, blood at the corner of his mouth, cloak torn, scars glowing beneath his skin. Beside him stood Sasuke. He had arrived during the final push, carrying the broken ring fragment and 2 other relics sealed into arm guards. His Sharingan had evolved, not into a simple answer, but into something sharper, a perception that could see where dimensional stress met chakra flow. "You're late," Naruto said. Sasuke wiped dirt from his cheek. "You're still alive." "That's not an apology. It's what you get." Sakura landed behind them, healing seal glowing across her forehead. "I swear, after this war, both of you are getting locked in a room and forced to have one normal conversation." Sasuke looked genuinely alarmed. Naruto said, "That may be worse than Madara." Madara rose into the sky. The moon's light began to change. The Eye of Agamotto opened at Naruto's sternum. He did not mean to activate it fully. It happened because the future screamed. Thousands of timelines unfolded. In everyone, the light reached the world. In everyone, people stopped screaming, stopped fighting, stopped choosing. They smiled beneath roots and dreams, and in each future Naruto stood awake, alone. Sometimes he held the dream back for minutes, sometimes hours, in 1 decades. In the longest future, he stood beneath a false sky for 43 years, keeping a crack open with both hands, speaking to sleeping statues of his friends until one day his voice gave out. Then even he stopped resisting. Naruto gasped. Sakura grabbed his arm. What did you see? Naruto looked at her, at Sasuke, at Kakashi in the distance, injured but standing, at Gaara, at the Alliance, at the world. There's no future where I stop it like this. Sasuke's eyes narrowed. Like this? Naruto pressed his palm to his stomach. Kurama went still. No, the fox said. Naruto closed his eyes. I'm sorry. Do not apologize and do something stupid. Pick one. Naruto smiled faintly, then he activated the Dark Multiverse seals, all of them, at once. Reality forgot how to behave. A 10-kilometer radius around Naruto fractured into possibility. The sky split into 3 versions of itself, one storming, one burning, one filled with stars that did not belong to this world. The ground became stone, sand, glass, and battlefield all at once. Time reversed in patches. A broken kunai lifted itself from the dirt, became whole, then rusted into dust before touching the ground again. Duplicates of Shinobi appeared for half a breath and vanished. Dead leaves bloomed backward into flowers. A mountain in the distance briefly showed its own ruins from a timeline where it had fallen centuries ago. Sakura held her ground by sheer will. Sasuke drove one of his relics into the earth, anchoring himself with a ring of black-red symbols. Kakashi, far away, stared at the horizon and whispered. Naruto! Madara turned in the air. For the first time his expression changed, not fear. His pride would never allow the word. But his body recognized danger before his philosophy could explain it. Naruto rose slowly from the ground. The scars had spread across his arms, chest, neck, and jaw, glowing like cracks in a dying star. His eyes were blue, gold, and black all at once. The moonlight stopped moving, not fully, but enough. The infinite Tsukuyomi's preliminary casting stalled against the dimensional fracture Naruto forced between the genjutsu and the world. Madara looked down at him. What are you? Naruto's voice echoed from too many directions, the person saying no. Then his shadow stood up beside him. Shadow Strange emerged fully, no longer half-formed, no longer tied to reflection. This time everyone could see him. Sakura's breath caught. Sasuke's eyes widened. Madara stared. The shadow looked up at Madara with clinical interest. So that is the man who wants to save humanity by removing consent. Madara's gaze sharpened. And you are, the shadow smiled. The honest version. Naruto turned to him. I'm not letting you take over. I know. Then why are you here? The shadow did not look at him. Because for once, our goals align. Naruto's hands trembled as he held the fractured sky in place. The pressure was unbearable. The Dark Multiverse pushed through the seals like oceans through cracks in glass. Every collapsed timeline beyond the door seemed to whisper offers. More power. Cleaner solutions. One rewrite, one better world. The shadow extended a hand. You've been fighting me for years, it said. You thought I was the version of you that would destroy everything. Naruto gritted his teeth. You're not. I am the version of you that would destroy everything necessary. That's not better. No, the shadow said, but it is useful. Madara raised one hand, gathering 10 tails power. The moonlight pressed harder. Naruto saw the future begin to collapse again. Sakura shouted, Naruto! Sasuke's voice followed, sharper. Don't decide alone, Naruto froze. The shadow looked at him. For one moment, the battlefield, the sky, the war, even Madara seemed distant. Don't decide alone. Naruto looked back at Sakura. She was terrified, but she did not tell him no. Sasuke was tense, but he did not look away. Kakashi stood in the distance, one hand against his injured side, trusting him even though fear was written into every line of his body. Kurama growled inside him. If you take his hand, brat, you take mine too. Naruto blinked. What? Kurama's chakra surged through the seal, not breaking it, not overwhelming it, supporting it. I am not letting some dead-eyed copy of you be the only idiot helping. Naruto laughed. It came out broken but real. The shadow's expression flickered, almost annoyed. Naruto took the shadow's hand. Power doubled, cost doubled. The fractures across Naruto's skin burned bright enough to light the battlefield. But this time, Kurama's chakra wrapped around the dark energy like a living chain. Sakura's healing chakra reached Naruto from behind, stabilizing his body. Sasuke's relic anchor locked the ground beneath him. Kakashi's Kamui tore away unstable fragments before they could collapse inward. Not alone, Naruto looked up. Madara's attack fell. Naruto and the shadow raised their hands together. A golden-black mandala opened across the sky. The 10 Tails blast struck it. For 3 seconds, the world became soundless. Then the attack split. Half was redirected into the upper atmosphere. Half was swallowed into a mirror dimension pocket that cracked, screamed, and vanished into nowhere. The alliance erupted into motion again. Madara was pushed back, not defeated, pushed back. That mattered. Because Madara adapted, even as Naruto stole the infinite Tsukuyomi, Madara's Rinnegan studied the fracture, the seals, the dimensional stress. His connection to the 10 Tails deepened. The beast inside him was not merely chakra. Naruto could feel it now. The 10 Tails was dimensional, not in the same way the Dark Multiverse was older, rooted. Kaguya had not brought chakra to this world like a farmer carrying seed. She had brought a door, and the 10 Tails was what grew around it. Madara began to understand by instinct what Naruto had spent years learning by pain. The battlefield trembled. The Eye of Agamotto opened again. This time, Naruto saw fewer futures. Only one path repeated, not here, not this dimension, beyond the seals. A space between the ninja world and the collapsed timelines, a place that did not exist yet, a place that would exist only if Naruto opened a door large enough for himself and Madara to step through. Naruto's heart sank. The shadow saw it too. So, it said quietly, the last door. No. Yes. Madara descended slowly, surrounded by white light and monstrous calm. You delay the inevitable, Madara said, but delay is not victory. Naruto's arms shook. Sakura was still channeling chakra into him. Sasuke's anchor was cracking. Kurama's power strained against the dark pressure. The moonlight pressed down. The world began to dream at the edges. Naruto saw a medic suddenly smile at something that was not there. A cloud shinobi lowered his weapon. A stone soldier whispered a name and reached toward empty air. No, Naruto whispered. The shadow leaned closer. You know where this ends. Naruto looked at Madara, then at his friends, then inward, where Kurama stood behind the bars no longer like a prisoner but like a partner bracing a gate. Naruto understood. He was going to have to open the last door, not to win power, not to rewrite the world. To move the fight somewhere the world could survive it. Sakura's voice shook. Naruto, what are you about to do? He turned back. For a second, he wanted to lie, to say he had a plan, to say everything would be fine, but Naruto had learned to hate bad adult lies, so he told the truth. I'm moving the battlefield. Sasuke's eyes widened. Where? Naruto looked at the black gold cracks spreading through the air. Between. Kakashi appeared beside them in a swirl of warped space, exhausted but upright. Naruto. The way he said the name held years of warnings, lessons, and trust. Naruto nodded. I know, don't decide alone. He looked at them all. I'm not. Sasuke stepped forward. I'm going with you. No. Sasuke's face hardened. Naruto, you can't survive there. You don't know that. Yes, Naruto said softly. I do. That stopped him. Sakura grabbed Naruto's sleeve, just like she had on the road before Itachi. This time she did not tell him not to go. She only said, come back. Naruto smiled. I'll try. Sakura's eyes filled with anger. That is a terrible answer. It's an honest one. I hate honest answers. I know. Kurama's chakra surged. The shadow stood at Naruto's side, patient and terrible. Madara raised his hand again. The moonlight sharpened. Naruto opened the last visible seal, not the final one inside himself, not Tier Omega, but the outer door. A circle formed beneath him and Madara, not gold, not black. Both. The battlefield folded. Madara's eyes widened in recognition and delight. The shadow whispered, finally. Naruto whispered back, not for you. Then the world tore open. Naruto, Madara, and Shadow Strange vanished into the seam between realities. The infinite Tsukuyomi's light flickered. The battlefield remained awake, for now. Sakura stood where Naruto had been, his sleeve torn in her hand. Sasuke stared at the empty air, fists clenched so tightly his nails cut his palms. Kakashi looked up at the fractured moon and said nothing. Inside the space between worlds, Naruto fell upward through impossible darkness. Madara fell with him, smiling like a man approaching the throne he had always believed was waiting. And beside Naruto, the shadow watched the last unopened seal pulsing inside his soul. Behind it waited a collapsed reality, enough power to rewrite everything, enough power to end all suffering, enough power to end choice. Naruto reached for the seal, then stopped. The final battle had left the world behind. Now the only question was what kind of savior Naruto Uzumaki was willing to become. Chapter 6, The Sorcerer Supreme's Choice. Naruto fell upward. That was the first sign that the place beyond the seal did not care about rules. There was no sky, no ground, no horizon. Only a vast interstitial darkness filled with broken shapes, fragments of worlds that had almost existed, timelines that had failed before they could become history, memories of places that never had the mercy of being real. A mountain floated upside down in the distance, crumbling into ash and rebuilding itself every few seconds. A sea hung above Naruto's head, frozen in mid-wave, filled with stars instead of water. A battlefield flickered in and out to his left, showing thousands of shinobi fighting a war that had never happened. This was not the Dark Multiverse itself, not fully. It was the seam, the threshold between Naruto's world and the collapsed realities pressing against the doors carved into his soul. The place the seals were made of. Naruto landed on nothing. His feet touched a surface that had not existed until he needed to stand. Madara landed across from him with far more grace. Shadow Strange appeared beside Naruto, hands folded behind his back, looking around with calm appreciation. "Beautiful," the shadow said. Naruto stared at the broken darkness. "That is not the word I'd use." "Of course not. You are still emotionally attached to stable physics." Madara looked around slowly. For once, the old Uchiha did not speak immediately. The Ten Tails' power moved inside him like a second universe trying to fit inside human skin. His white robes shifted in a wind that had no source. The Rin Sharingan on his forehead pulsed, studying the seam with hunger and instinct. Then Madara smiled. "So this is the layer beneath the dream." Naruto's jaw tightened. "This is where your dream stops." Madara looked at him, almost amused. "You still believe this is about stopping me?" "It is." "No," Madara lifted one hand. In the distance, a broken timeline shivered. "This is where you finally understand me." Naruto felt the last seal pulse inside his soul. Behind it waited power beyond anything he had used. Tier Omega, complete Dark Multiverse channel. A collapsed reality waiting to be absorbed. Enough power to rewrite his world. Enough power to erase Madara, the war, the hatred between nations, the pain that had shaped every person Naruto loved. Enough power to fix everything. Shadow Strange looked at him. Naruto ignored him. Madara stepped forward. The seam responded to him. That was the terrifying part. Madara did not understand this place the way Naruto did, but the Ten Tails did. Its chakra reached into the broken substrate around them like roots into familiar soil. Naruto's stomach twisted. Kaguya had brought chakra from beyond the world. The Ten Tails had always been dimensional. Madara was not a stranger here. He was a thief holding a key he did not know how to name. Madara raised his staff. "Let us begin." The seam shattered into motion. Madara struck first. A wave of Ten Tails chakra tore across the darkness, not as a blast but as a command. The surface beneath Naruto's feet tried to become stone, then bone, then nothing. Naruto opened a golden circle and folded the attack away. It reappeared behind Madara. Madara turned and absorbed it with one hand. Shadow Strange sighed. "He learns quickly." Naruto snapped. "Helpful comments only." That was helpful. It identified a problem. Madara appeared in front of him. Naruto barely raised a shield in time. The impact drove him backward across impossible space. The shield cracked. Sage energy surged through Naruto's body, green gold lines glowing around his eyes and hands. Kurama's chakra wrapped around his spine like living fire. Madara pressed harder. "You stand at the edge of godhood," Madara said, "and still fight like a protector." Naruto gritted his teeth. "That was meant to insult me." "It was meant to diagnose you." Naruto twisted his hand. The shield became a portal. Madara's force passed through it and struck a floating mountain behind him. The mountain folded inward, became a seed, grew into a dead tree, and vanished. Naruto kicked Madara back with a chakra-enhanced strike wrapped in eldritch geometry. Madara slid across the seam, smiling. Better. Sasuke would have hated that smile. Naruto hated it for him. Madara lifted both hands. The seam around them shifted. Fragments of broken timelines began to orbit him. Dead villages, ruined moons, burned forests, silent oceans. He pulled their residue into his own chakra, feeding the Ten Tails connection. Naruto's eyes widened. He's adapting. Shadow Strange's voice was calm. "Obviously. Again, helpful comments." "That was helpful. It confirmed your fear." Naruto threw a look at him. Shadow Strange smiled faintly. Madara's next attack was not aimed at Naruto's body. It was aimed at his anchor. The space around Naruto's feet vanished. He fell through a memory of Konoha burning, then a hospital corridor, then the flooded seal chamber, then a sky filled with the infinite Tsukuyomi's light. Naruto slammed both hands together. Enough. Golden mandalas opened beneath him. Sage mode stabilized his body. Kurama's chakra stabilized his soul. Strange's memories stabilized the spell. Naruto stopped falling, then he pulled. The seam bent around him. For the first time, Naruto did not use chakra and eldritch energy separately. He let them meet, not collide, not compete, meet. Chakra flowed through his tenketsu. Natural energy entered through breath and stillness. Eldritch geometry shaped the current through will and symbol. Kurama's chakra burned through the center like a red sun. The result was not bigger, it was clearer. A single golden-green-red circle opened behind Naruto, massive and precise, rotating with symbols from 3 worlds. Shinobi seals, eldritch runes, and patterns that belonged to neither but answered to both. Shadow Strange went quiet. Madara's smile faded slightly. Naruto opened his eyes. They were blue, only blue. That worried Madara more than all the glowing scars had. Naruto moved, not fast, correct. He stepped through one portal, appeared behind Madara, struck the connection point between Madara's chakra and the nearest broken timeline, then vanished before the counterattack arrived. Madara turned. Naruto was already above him. Another strike. Another connection weakened. Madara's expression hardened. "So that is your answer. Precision." Naruto landed several meters away. "Usually better than ego." Madara attacked harder. Truth-seeking orbs expanded around him, reshaped by Ten Tails' chakra into black spheres that distorted the seam itself. Naruto avoided 2, shielded one, and sliced another away with a crescent of golden energy. The 4th struck his shoulder. Pain exploded through him. His left arm went numb. Kurama roared. Naruto stumbled. Shadow Strange appeared beside him instantly, one black gold shield raised. "You are slowing down." Naruto breathed through the pain. "I noticed. Open the final seal." "No, you cannot beat him while protecting your moral comfort." Naruto looked at him. "My moral comfort is the only reason you're not in charge." Shadow Strange's eyes narrowed. Madara attacked again. This time, Shadow Strange moved first. He raised both hands, and the seam itself sharpened into black geometric blades. They launched toward Madara from every direction. Madara blocked most. One cut his cheek. He touched the bloodless mark with interest. Shadow Strange smiled. "See, efficient." Naruto stared at him. "You almost hit the seal behind him." "I was aware." "That seal leads to a collapsed timeline." "Yes, if it ruptures, we gain power. We lose control." Shadow Strange turned to him. "We are losing the war." Naruto looked past him. Madara stood beneath the broken sky, gathering more Ten Tails power. The seam trembled. In the distance, Naruto could feel the real world still fighting to stay awake. Sakura's chakra, Sasuke's anchor, Kakashi's exhausted Kamui, the alliance holding against the dream. They were running out of time. Shadow Strange stepped closer, his voice lowered. Open the last seal. No, you know what waits behind it. Yes. A collapsed reality, complete energy, enough to rewrite the entire Shinobi world from the substrate upward. Naruto said nothing. Shadow Strange's expression sharpened. No more child soldiers. No more clan massacres. No more villages built on revenge and profit. No more Jinchuriki cages. No more children standing alone in apartments while adults pretend cruelty is policy. Naruto's throat tightened. The shadow pressed on. We can design suffering out. Madara watched them now, amused. He understood temptation when he saw it. Shadow Strange continued, voice smooth and persuasive. We do not need Madara's dream. We can build something better, not illusion, reality. A world where no one has to become strong just to survive being abandoned. Naruto closed his eyes and saw it. A rewritten Konoha, no villagers glaring at a small boy, no Sasuke standing alone in an empty compound, no Sakura learning helplessness before strength, no Kakashi at a memorial stone, arriving late because grief had become his clock, no Nagato beneath rain, no Gaara with sand as his only friend, no Itachi choosing massacre because adults built a world where every option was poison, a kinder world, a cleaner world, a world Naruto could make. His hand drifted toward the final seal. Kurama's voice came softly, brat, not a roar, not a warning. Just one word. Naruto stopped. Inside him, the fox waited, not commanding, trusting. That was worse. Naruto opened his eyes. Shadow Strange watched him. You want it, the shadow said. Naruto nodded. Yes. Then stop pretending refusal is virtue. Naruto looked toward the false visions of a better world. I want it every second. The shadow's expression changed, just slightly. Naruto continued, that's why I can't do it. Shadow Strange stared. Naruto's voice steadied. You're describing a world where nobody chose anything, where nobody became kind because they fought cruelty, where Hinata never stands in front of pain because we never allow pain to exist, where Sasuke never has to crawl out of darkness because we remove the darkness before he can choose, where Sakura's courage is just something we permit in the design. Shadow Strange's eyes hardened. She would still be herself. No, Naruto said. She would be what we allowed her to be. Madara laughed softly. How noble, how useless. Naruto turned toward him. I'm not finished. The seam went quiet. Naruto faced both of them now, Madara, the man who would trap the world in a dream, and Shadow Strange, the version of himself who would rewrite the world and call it mercy. You both hate suffering so much that you stopped trusting people to live. Madara's expression darkened. Shadow Strange became very still. Naruto touched the scars across his chest. I hate suffering too. I hate that people die. I hate that children get used. I hate that the world makes monsters and then acts surprised when they bite. His voice dropped. But choice matters, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. The final seal pulsed again. The collapsed reality behind it whispered, open, fix, rule, save. Naruto placed his palm over the seal, then closed it, not locked, closed by choice. The seam screamed. Shadow Strange staggered as if struck. Madara's eyes widened. The Dark Multiverse pressure recoiled, furious, denied at the threshold. Naruto's scars burned bright, then began to fade inward, not disappearing but stabilizing, turning from cracks into lines of living sealwork. Shadow Strange looked at him with something like shock. You absolute fool. Naruto smiled faintly. Probably. You gave up the answer. No, Naruto said. I gave up the shortcut. The shadow began to fracture. For the first time he looked afraid, not of death, of irrelevance. Naruto stepped toward him. Shadow Strange backed away. No, Naruto's face softened. You're not my enemy. I am the part of you strong enough to do what must be done. You're the part of me that forgot why strength matters. Shadow Strange's jaw tightened. Naruto extended his hand, not to borrow power this time, to accept him. The shadow stared at the hand. You cannot integrate me and remain soft, Naruto nodded. I know. You will remember every solution I offered. I know. You will want them again. I know. Shadow Strange's voice became almost angry. Then why? Naruto's hand remained steady. Because pretending you're not part of me just lets you grow in the dark. For a long moment, Shadow Strange did not move. Then he laughed once. Cold, bitter, almost impressed. You finally learned. He took Naruto's hand. The shadow shattered into black gold light. It did not vanish, it entered. Naruto gasped as every cold calculation, every ruthless solution, every terrifying possible version of himself flooded inward. Destroy Orochimaru before he acts. Break the villages before they cage you. Rewrite Sasuke's grief. Remove Madara from every timeline. Design peace, end choice. The thoughts came like blades. Naruto did not reject them, he held them, and around them he placed every other part of himself. Uruka giving him the forehead protector, Sakura sitting beside him in the mud, Sasuke saying not alone forever. Kakashi telling him rules mattered because pain made decisions otherwise. Kurama promising he would not be alone. The shadow integrated, the fusion that began on the night of the 9 tails sealing finally completed. Naruto Uzumaki opened his eyes. The seam answered, not with hunger. With recognition, Madara stared at him. What have you become? Naruto lifted one hand, a circle opened behind him, then another, then hundreds, not wild, not dark, not desperate, perfect, sage mode and eldritch mastery unified, chakra and mystical energy moving as one current. Kurama's power no longer leaking or lending, but harmonizing, the Sorcerer Supreme convergence, Tier 4, not the strongest possible form, the right one. Naruto looked at Madara. Someone who says no without hating you. Madara attacked. Everything he had left came at once. 10 Tails chakra, truth-seeking orbs, Rinnegan force. The Rinnegan's dream light, a god's power shaped by a man's wound. Naruto did not overpower it, he stepped through it. Golden circles opened along the attack structure, not blocking but reading. Sage mode found the living flow. Kurama's chakra found the beast. Strange's precision found the connection point. There. Naruto saw it. Madara was not the 10 tails, he was plugged into it, a host, an anchor, a man pretending to be the source of divinity because admitting he was only holding it would ruin the fantasy. Naruto reached forward, his hand passed through Madara's attack, through chakra, through dream light, through the dimensional substrate beneath it. Madara's eyes widened. For the first time he understood, Naruto was not trying to kill him. That was worse. No, Madara said. Naruto's fingers closed around the connection between Madara and the 10 tails. I'm sorry. Then he unplugged it. There was no explosion, no grand beam of light, no final scream, just a quiet, devastating separation. The 10 tails' power tore free from Madara's body, not as a beast, not as a weapon, but as raw dimensional energy returning to a state before ownership. It dispersed through the seam in waves of white and green and gold, flowing back toward the world not as domination, but as ambient life. Madara fell. His robes lost their glow, the Rinnegan closed, the truth-seeking orbs dissolved, the god vanished. What remained was an old man with brilliant eyes and a dying body. He hit the ground on his knees. For a long time he stared at his hands. Naruto stood before him, breathing hard, scars dim now across his jaw and arms like stable markings instead of wounds. Madara looked up. His voice was quiet. You could have ruled it. Naruto nodded. Yes, you could have fixed it. No, Naruto said softly. I could have changed it. Madara's mouth twisted. To you, there is a difference. There has to be. Madara looked away. The seam around them began to collapse. Without the 10 tails forcing it open, without Naruto feeding the dark seals, the threshold could not hold. Naruto opened a portal back to the ninja world. Gold light spilled through. Madara did not stand. Naruto looked at him. Strange's memories offered 50 responses, warnings, judgments, clinical conclusions. Naruto's heart offered one. It didn't have to be this. Madara closed his eyes. For 1 second he looked tired enough to be human. Naruto stepped through the portal. The seam closed behind him. The battlefield was awake, damaged, silent, alive, Naruto emerged beneath the fractured moon and collapsed immediately. Sakura caught him before he hit the ground. She was crying and furious, which Naruto had learned was one of her most dangerous combinations. "You said you'd try," she snapped. Naruto blinked up at her. "I did. You look dead. I'm not. That is the lowest possible standard." Sasuke stood nearby, staring at Naruto with his Sharingan active, as if trying to confirm he was real. Kakashi landed beside them, exhausted beyond hiding. "Madara," Naruto closed his eyes. "Disconnected," Sasuke frowned. "Dead." No, Sasuke looked toward the sky. The moon's terrible light had faded. The infinite Tsukuyomi had never fully cast. People were awake, wounded, grieving, but awake. Sakura's healing chakra flowed into Naruto. She froze. What happened to the shadow? Naruto opened his eyes. For a moment they seemed older, then warmer, integrated. Sakura searched his face. "You're still you," Naruto smiled faintly, unfortunately for everyone. Kakashi exhaled. Sasuke looked away, but his shoulders loosened. The war did not end in cheering, not at first. Too many dead, too much ruin. Too many people slowly realizing that survival was not the same as victory. The allied Shinobi forces stood under the morning light and counted losses. Naruto watched them from a medical cot, wrapped in bandages he did not technically need, but Sakura insisted on because, in her words, mystical nonsense does not exempt you from medical procedure. No one argued, not even Kurama, especially not Kurama. The world had not been remade. That was the first thing some people praised. It was also the first thing some people resented. The Tsuchikage called Naruto's choice the wisest decision of the century. The Raikage called it arrogance. "If a man has power to end suffering," the Raikage said days later, "who is he to refuse?" Naruto answered quietly, "A man who knows he would be the one deciding what suffering is allowed to mean." The Raikage did not like that answer, but he respected it enough to stop arguing. That was progress, maybe. Weeks later, Naruto met Sasuke on a bridge outside Konoha. Not the same bridge where other versions of their story might have ended in violence. A smaller one, quieter. The river below moved steadily, unconcerned with gods, dreams, or boys who carried too much history. Sasuke leaned against the railing. Naruto walked up beside him. For a while, neither spoke. This was normal. Sasuke preferred silence because words could expose things. Naruto had learned patience because pushing Sasuke too quickly made him emotionally flee while remaining physically present, which was impressive but irritating. Finally, Sasuke said, "Did you want to?" Naruto did not ask what he meant. "Yes." Sasuke's fingers tightened on the railing. "Every second." Naruto looked at the water. "Every second." Sasuke nodded. That at least he understood, power offering the one thing you wanted most. A dead family restored, a cruel world corrected, a brother saved from impossible choices, a childhood rewritten. Sasuke's voice was low. "How did you not?" Naruto thought about lying, then remembered he hated bad adult lies. "I wasn't alone." Sasuke's mouth twitched. "You're making that sound like a teamwork speech." "It's operational safety." Sasuke looked at him. Naruto smiled. Sasuke sighed. "Still annoying?" "Still emotionally constipated?" Sasuke's eyes narrowed. "I can throw you off this bridge. You can try." For a moment they were 13 again. Not completely, never completely, but enough. Then Sasuke looked forward. "I'm leaving again." Naruto's smile faded, but he was not surprised. "To find yourself," Sasuke grimaced. "Don't say it like that." "To dramatically walk through the world until your trauma becomes wisdom? I hate you." "No, you don't." Sasuke said nothing. That meant Naruto was right. Naruto leaned on the railing beside him. "Not alone forever." Sasuke looked at him. Then away. "Not alone forever." That was enough. That night, Naruto sat inside the seal chamber. For the first time, it no longer looked like a prison. The bars remained. The water remained, the seal remained, but the space had changed. The walls were wider. The darkness less heavy. The angular cracks at the margins were no longer spreading. They had become stable lines of black gold script woven into the Uzumaki seal itself, not doors, scars, and scars, Naruto knew, could become reminders instead of openings. Kurama lay behind the bars, massive head resting on his paws. "You look smug," the fox said. Naruto sat cross-legged in the water. "I saved the world." "You fell unconscious immediately after. Still counts. HN." Naruto smiled. For a while they sat in silence. Then Kurama spoke. "So, what now?" Naruto looked at the seal on his palm, still marked, still dangerous, still his. "Whatever needs doing." Kurama stared, then made a sound Naruto had only heard a few times before, a laugh, deep, rough, and unwilling to admit affection. "That is a terrible plan." Naruto grinned. "It's flexible." "It is vague." "Flexible, stupid." "Flexible." Kurama closed his eyes. "I should have eaten you when you were smaller." "You couldn't. I was adorable. You were exhausting." "Same thing." The fox did not answer, but the chamber felt warmer. Years later, Konoha built the sanctum. That was not the official name at first. The official name was the Department of Advanced Chakra Dimensional Study and Interdisciplinary Seal Mechanics. No one used it, not once. The first team of researchers consisted of 3 shinobi, 2 seal scholars, 1 retired medic, a sand puppeteer, a cloud censor, and a stone elder who insisted Naruto's circles were just stubborn Fuinjutsu with delusions of grandeur. Naruto loved them immediately. They argued constantly. About chakra, about natural energy, about whether portals counted as transportation or controlled spatial disagreement, about whether the mirror dimension was an actual dimension, a pocket state, or, as one frustrated researcher called it, Uzumaki nonsense with better lighting. Naruto visited once a week as Hokage. He did not stand at the front, he stood at the back, watching, listening, letting them be wrong, letting them correct each other, letting knowledge become real the slow way, the human way. One afternoon, a young researcher turned to him after a particularly loud argument. "Lord Seventh, you already know the answer, don't you?" Naruto smiled. "Probably." "Then why not just tell us?" Naruto looked out the window. For a moment, he remembered an ancient temple in another life. A teacher who let a broken man struggle until understanding became his own. He remembered Kakashi letting him choose rules, Sakura sitting beside him, Sasuke walking away but not forever, Kurama refusing to let him be alone. Naruto looked back at the researcher. "Because if I give you the answer, you'll have information." He tapped the chalkboard gently. "If you build the answer, you'll have understanding." The researcher frowned. "That sounds annoying." Naruto grinned. "It is." Behind him, from deep inside his soul, Kurama snorted. And somewhere far beyond the healed wound in the world, the dark doors remained closed. Not because Naruto lacked the power to open them, because every day he chose not to. That was the difference between ruling the world and protecting it. That was the difference between a dream and a future. And Naruto Uzumaki, Shinobi, Jinchuriki, Sorcerer, Hokage, and something no category had ever fully contained chose the future, imperfect, painful, alive.